big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Drink all the sake I want. Read all the manga I want. Wear all the bape that I want. Buy all the J's that I want. Be with any girl that I want. Drive any car that I want. I'm always out of the country. I'm sorry if I ain't home. If the money ain't calling, I never answer my phone. You can see the flow in my chakra. All we smoke is homegrown. You know the boy love ramen. Probably sipping on miso. I know a spot that has shield. I got a spot that has deals. Wait till I get a kimono. I'ma swag it out in my dojo. Some girls are asking for a photo. I guess this happens in Kyoto. When you young and poppin' in Kyoto. I ball with all of my nakamas. I dance with all of my nakamas. I drink with all of my nakamas, yeah. I only listen to Cole. I touch down with peace. Hiro isekai, shinara irekai. You are my enemy, you are no friend of me. You covered in jealousy, we only drink Hennessy. Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. When I got money, you know it. When you got money, you blow it. How much you caught me a rollie? I'm living like Zach and Cody. Sweet like from young in the OG. From young, we learned to maneuver. I pick up and skirt in a Uber. I grew up with killers and shooters. No tell, but I think I'm cooler. I used to sleep with a deuce. I'm the moon god, got the juice. You switching sides like the man Bruce. Tight circle, cut the loose ends. Know I can go on vacation. You cannot escape from the matrix. I wrote all this shit in the basement. Art is my new occupation. Let's meet up at Kennedy Station. I've been at studio all day. I'd rather just make it the hard way. Sitting back while I'm looking up. Remember backyards cooking up. I just wanna be big. I wanna be big. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Drink all the sake I want. Read all the manga I want. Wear all the bape that I want. Buy all the J's that I want. Be with any girl that I want. Drive any car that I want. Drive any car that I want. I wanna be big. I wanna be big. So.
I actually wasn't sure this was gonna work. When I say this was gonna work is because my internet's not working. I'm on my neighbor's internet, bro. I am siphoning internet power from my neighbor, dog. So hopefully everything is good. I got a couple of announcements, a couple of things I want to say. I don't have anything important to talk about because my Kubera people have abandoned me. So that discussion I want to do have to wait. But the next episode of the Strong Nigga Trio has been recorded, so look out for that. It's me, Quietly, and Trent. So that's always fun. How y'all doing though? What's going on? How y'all doing? Let me switch. We here. Shout out to the neighbors. Yes. Shout out to the neighbors. This is why community is important, all right? Community. You need that. I did a bunch of rereads, yo. I've been rereading. Actually, in a weird way, I've actually been like reading manga. I don't know what's going on with me, but I've been reading a lot of manga. I reread a lot of stuff this year. If you think about it, from Reborn to I reread Reborn twice. I reread Reborn twice. Yes, I reread Crows. I just reread Beelzebub. I'm actually About 164 chapters into Gintama again. Yes, sir. I'm on my Gintama reread right now. It's been hitting. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where this power and energy is coming from, but I have to ride this while I have it. Because at some point, I'm just going to fall right the fuck off again and not read the goddamn thing. So we here. It's been good. And obviously, earlier this year, I reread Saint Seiya and stuff. Some of those rereads were specifically for revisionist history streams, but I reread Beelzebub and said, no, now I want to do a revisionist history for Beelzebub because I actually don't remember the series being that funny, but it's funny as hell. Like, I knew it was funny, but it was actually funnier than I remembered, so that was really fun. So shout out to that greatness. I got a project that I'm working on. I don't know if I might need some help with it because y'all are youthful. Y'all know things. You're reading all the gas. I feel it. You got me reading Beelzebub. Really love that shit, man. Now I love Japan. Yes, sir. Gotama. You know I pledge my allegiance to China. Nothing but China. But I did see something interesting today. I don't know how many of you guys in here like keep up with like, I suppose, what's the word I'm looking for or term I'm looking for? Like, I guess like content creator news and drama. Like a couple of weeks ago, did you guys see that there's that one girl who got like kicked? She got banned from Twitch for like a couple of days because she was getting her fucking shit smacked. She getting her fucking cheeks clapped on stream. Like, how often do you guys keep up with stuff like that? I'm curious. If you reread, if you ever see me say something like, you know what's crazy? What you said, like, if you reread Hunter x Hunter, I know you're on crack. That should be the symbol that I've been kidnapped. Like, if I ever tweet out or say like, yo, I'm rereading Hunter x Hunter, just call the police, call the government, call my mother, call whoever you gotta call. I've been kidnapped. I'm not okay. I'm in danger. My life is being threatened. All right, that's the key. That's how you'll know. So remember that. So, okay. No, the only reason why I asked that because I saw apparently Twitch is having a controversy right now with gambling. Apparently, there's like gambling streams or gambling Twitch people, like you can play like slots or something like that, and apparently there's been a minor gambling problem going on Twitch. I obviously don't follow this stuff, so I don't know. So I was wondering if anybody knew about that. I kind of saw it in passing and I took a slight interest because I don't have a gambling bone in my body. I'm afraid to lose money, bro, so I do not be gambling. This was crazy. Yeah, we can get your cheeks clapped, but the big dog Twitch streamers want to ban gambling and racism on Twitch equals okay, gambling equals hell no. I mean, you know, all these corporations and whatnot are super backwards, and it's do whatever they want. They pick and choose. They play favorites. They don't. Terms of services aren't a thing. They don't exist. They just say and do whatever they want. They're all tyrants. It is what it is. But wouldn't it be better, right? Just bear with me. I don't know everything about Twitch, so if I say something ignorant, just correct me. I'm not necessarily like get rid of gambling because if you can have, fuck it, I'm saying, you have women sucking the money out of wallets of these young horny men. It's predatory. They're like 16, and these girls are in their hot tubs, looking sexy, and they're like, "Give me money." Like, to me, if that's okay, gambling should be okay. But I just think Twitch probably needs and this won't solve everything because you could just lie about your age, but why not just have like maybe like a 18 plus section or a section where I know it says mature audiences, but that doesn't mean anything. Like maybe you have to lock gambling behind some type of age gap or something like that because apparently kids are stealing people's credit cards. Again, I have not confirmed any of this with my own research, or take it with a grain of salt, but that's kind of crazy. Gambling thing is so strange to me. Really, isn't slots like one of their main view pullers? They should have known it was going to get out of hand. And I don't know how it works because I've read some reports that say that they get money to gamble with, but gambling is a very addictive thing for a lot of people. I would just argue that I'm very lucky. I just don't have the gambling bug. I just don't have that. Like, have I ever told you guys the story of the first time I went to a casino? Let me know if I told that story already. I don't know if I ever told that story. The first time I went to a casino, the recent controversy was a streamer that scammed their viewers out of 300K cash overall something. Yes, that's what I was getting. That's what it was. Yes, and he apparently had borrowed money from other streamers just so he can gamble. Apparently, folks like Pokemon want to not stream for a week during the holidays as a way to protest. Does that affect Twitch's bottom line that much? Like, is she that big? I know her XQ Sept something, XQC, Charlie. I know his name is Charlie. I don't like calling him by his whatever name, Moist Critical. I'm just gonna call him Charlie. I know his name now. But those guys are big. How much revenue and money do they get in general for the whole like app and company when they stream? I'm actually curious to know that. I don't know. Actually, interesting. I look at gambling like I look at alcohol. You as an individual need to know your bar for vices. That's a good way to put it. You should know yourself and know when it's too much for you or when you can't handle it. Like, you have to know that cliff moment for you when you're gonna teeter over and whatnot. I don't know. It'll always be like, folks will lie about their age anyways. Exactly. Say the story. I'm not sure if I remember it. The story of let me just find this guy's name. His name was like Skinner or something. His name was like Skinner Twitch. I don't know. Let's see if I find it. wait. I just happened a story about the gambling. My bad. I'm an idiot. My fault. Okay. So when I was in college, and if anybody lives near New York or around New York or whatever, like the border there, with Niagara, the falls, I'm on the Canadian side of the falls, obviously, right? So we have this place called Clifton Hill. Clifton Hill is a bit of a tourist attraction site there. When I was in school, I was in the Niagara region, right? So I go to my first casino. I'm dressed up. I got a Romeo and Juliet cigar with me. I walk in there, broke as shit. I got like $100 I'm willing to spend. And I go, let me go to the table. Where did I go first? I was just losing money at first. And then I did one of those ball things, and I didn't even know what I was doing, honestly. But I won $2. Basically, out of everything that happened, I went up $2 and I left. I said, yo, we made $2? Let's go! And I cut. I didn't go, oh, now that I won that one time, let's go. I got to keep going. I literally got $2 and I said, time to bounce. I bought a junior chicken. I had a great night. Had a great night. It was a fucking great night. That's exactly what I did. I don't have the gambling bug. I don't have an addictive personality. The things that I was addicted to the most was candy and juice. That's my gambling. That was me going down the gambling rabbit hole, yo. If I remember correctly, there's a leak of how much the big streamers earn, and it was around 6 figures. Oh no, they get a lot of money. They make a shit ton. Charlie said he gets over 70K every month just from Twitch subs alone, which is crazy. That's a lot. Holy fuck. Maybe someday. I don't know. Someday. Maybe. But yeah. I thought that was interesting. Twitch is and YouTube have been all over the place with a lot of their guidelines and terms of service and stuff though. Because I did see we brought up earlier, I think his name was Corey X Kenshin or something, and a guy named he's another black guy. I don't remember his name, but I know he went to the most racist quote unquote country in like America to see if it was really like bad. I don't remember his name though. Gideon something. Somebody knows the name. I think I got that right. I think he spoke about it too. Apparently he like hate rated Pokemon, and then Twitch got him out the paint because they were like, bruh, that's not cool. So Gideon. Okay, there we go. I just know Amazon, who owns Twitch, isn't gonna sweat because their top streamers don't stream for a couple of days. Yeah. Oh, that's true. So that makes, because Amazon Prime, you're right. The Prime and Twitch are now connected. Did I not make that connection? No, I didn't know that. He got permabanned. I've never really watched his content, so I don't know. I'm very bad at knowing content creators. That's why I rely on you guys in the internet to let me know what's going on. Cause from what I can tell, actually, you know the girl who got her fucking booty banged out on stream? She was like just as big as I was as far as Twitch goes, and obviously because of this, she's kind of gone up. And I wonder if this is a viable strategy for some people to use to like have like weird covert sex on stream and then be like, and then you blow up from that. Controversy. I actually am starting to believe the line of there's no such thing as bad publicity. I'm starting to believe that, honestly. You got permaban. Him and Pokey are cool for months now, but he's been banned. Naya bring cheeks on stream? Nah, not me. Only my cheeks. I'm gonna have a pool stream. What they call hot tubs and baths. That's the future of this the future of this channel. All right, hot tub baby. Steam room. Gideon can't even go to Twitch cons anymore. The last one he went, security kicked him out. Oh wow. Interesting. Very interesting treatment. I'll leave it at that. I don't know anything else about nothing. But all right. Is there anything else from the content creator world that I remember that I want to talk about? I think there was one more story, but it's not coming to me. I gotta do better. No refunds, allegedly. Wow. Well, those guys are pretty well off in terms of the money they get from this. Oh, I remember what it was. I'm actually a bit late to this. I'm just throwing out shit out there that I know. Are you guys familiar with Hassan Piker? There's apparently this guy. He has a persona called the Candyman. I think his name is Sam Hyde. I think that's what his name was. Apparently he keeps calling him out. And I saw people like roasting him, making fun of him because he's always like, you should like punch a Nazi and people who are like bad people, you should fight them or whatever. And he has like this like publicity stunt where he can fight what some people might perceive to be a Nazi, and he like bitched out and like he won't do it. He's like, violence is bad. I truly wonder why some of the most like obviously brain dead people get the platforms and the amount of notoriety and acclaim that they get. It really baffles me that someone like him has like the platform that he has. I have personally not. Again, I don't consume enough of his content to know any of these stuff, and then I don't know the man personally, so I'm not going to cast any aspersions on him to that degree. But I've never heard an intelligent thought from him, honestly. I know Keemstar is pushing the Logan versus Tate boxing. Oh, actually, speaking of Tate, I saw him on Patrick Bet David's podcast. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched the clips that they put on of Valuetainment, but that was great. I like it. I actually have no problem with Andrew Tate, personally speaking. I have no issue with him. Sam Pie wants to kick his ass. Yeah. 9 in. Was there no reclimb last week, or did I miss it? There was no reclimb. I don't remember what I did that day, and there won't be one this week, solely due to the fact that Wednesday this week will be the big Tower of God stream with Joe, Haku, Ryzen, Sun Wolfie comes, Milios, and all those guys. So this week will be that. So yeah. But no, I didn't do it last week. I can't remember what I did instead. I did something instead, but I was behind on something. But I took a week off. Y'all know what? They're not watching it anyways. You're there though. I got you. But yeah, next week I actually might just do one on Friday. Actually, I might push it to Friday this week. Sheep mentality, stupid folks follow. Don't worry. Piker claims to hate rich folks, but he would stream himself buying a. Yeah, didn't he like buy like a really? I think I saw that he got like a mansion that was like really, really high end, like a $3 million mansion. He's a fake socialist. And honestly, maybe there's something I don't know about socialism, but I've never met a socialist that was like a good person or a real one, I guess. I don't know. Socialism doesn't seem like something. I don't know. People hate capitalism. I don't think it's perfect. I understand that, but I don't think socialism is the right course of action. It's wild to me that the kind of folks who hold down steady fame for as long as they do, I don't get it either. $3.5 million in a 6-figure Porsche. Yeah, Hassan the millionaire socialist. It reminds me of that like meme where it's like you criticize society, yet you like exist in it. Interesting. Like you're not making a good point. I don't know, but there's the other dude with the beard. He's kind of fat, I think. Vaush. I think he's a pseudo intellectual too myself, but I'll keep that to me. But I know I had this like I had like a good 3 weeks where I was trying to listen to a lot of different political like channels and podcasts from all across the political spectrum. So that's how I kind of found out about some of these guys. The only one that I ended up like liking was actually Tim Pool. You guys know who Tim Pool is? I like Timcast. I like the work that he does there. I like Tim Pool. He's cool. Despite a plethora of issues in the past in Carolina, I just don't get it. They just get whatever. What's up, Star Destroyers? They say people hate capitalism until they get rich. I feel that. I think that's true. What you guys talking about? Nothing crazy. We're just doing a bunch of stuff. Do you think Rogan will invite Tate to his podcast? I could see him doing it, especially as a guy who likes like mixed martial arts and whatnot. I think so. In a weird way, Rogan's channel has become this like way to get out certain messages. But I respect Patrick Bet David for having Tate on his YouTube because I don't know this. Maybe you know this, Beastie Bird. I heard Tate said that he was banned on everything. They even like, was it PayPal or something? He couldn't even, like a payment processor he couldn't even use, like, or his email he couldn't even use either. Like, they tried to straight up like cut him off like in a crazy way. I don't know though. But I watched it. Yeah, you have to. Here's one thing I'll say about myself, right? I'm not like perfect. I'm not infallible. And I keep telling you I'm not a good person. Don't expect me to be like perfect from top to bottom. Cause I don't try to like. I am not the paragon of righteousness, and I am not justice. I am not everything that is good and holy in this world. I'm human like everybody else. I do bad things. I do good things. Somewhere in the middle, I make mistakes all the time, and that's just how I see humanity. Wait, what? Yeah, you got banned from Uber. Yeah, that's what it was. Uber and Airbnb. I think some London banks too. Okay, that's wild. They got Tate out of the paint. It's insane. But Tate says he's fine because he's not in the Matrix or whatever, and that's probably something you need to do. But I always find it very. Have you guys ever had this question asked to you before? Just out of curiosity, if you support some type of like well-known public figure, whether it's a politician, a famous person, an athlete, or something, and someone kind of goes like, "Oh, you're a fan of like Jordan B. Peterson, or you're a fan of Ben Shapiro, or you're a fan of whatever, and they try to act like, oh, what, you disagree with everything they say? Have you guys ever gotten that? Because I think it's a weird question to ask. I find the question to be highly illogical. Because I would ask you this. Real talk, everyone in the chat. I want you to think about somebody or the person that you love, admire, and respect the most. Regardless of that fact, do you agree with every single thing that they do or say? Humor me. I don't care if it's your mom, your best friend, your wife, your girlfriend, your dog. Do you agree with every single thing they say, they do and say? So when people ask me weird shit like that, I go, why the fuck would Andrew Tate be any different? Why would this person be any different? Every single person on the face of the earth say and do shit I don't agree with, whether I like them or not. It's just a weird fucking question. Like, I can tell there's people that I don't like that do and say shit that I agree with. Like, what are we talking about? I don't like illogicalness. Oh, that's not a real word, but I like people who are illogical. That's a stupid question to ask. No, I don't. That's simply possible. No, humans are flawed. Simple as that. No, fuck no. Exactly. So like when people like I had my one friend ask me like, oh, you're one of those guys. You like Jordan Peterson or whatever. And I go, yes, Jordan Peterson is deeply intelligent, and I'm there for his knowledge on psychology. I've read tons of his. I've read both of his. I only actually might have more than 2 books, but I read 2 of his books. I have them upstairs, and I read a lot of his paper, and I watched some of his lectures to learn about psychology. He's not the only psychologist that I listen to or read works of. There's other people and other psychologists that I like, but when it comes to the political scape and stuff like that, and like current events in the world, sometimes there's shit he says I disagree with, even from a psychological standpoint. It's the shit he says I don't agree with. So I just find that question so weird, because it's like a way to try to shame and demonize you for like watching or consuming somebody, and it doesn't work on me. I don't fucking care what you think. I'm that person. You could look me in the eye and think what you want, but it's not going to change how I move through life. So it's just a weird question. So, hello, Hams. Hope you're doing good. Thank you, Dream. I'm all right, bro. I'm just chilling. We vibing. I'm just talking shit. Nothing to stream today. I thought I streamed already. So, no, not even my favorite actors be pissing me off with their script choices. Hello, matey. Can you hear this? I actually cannot hear it, but I can read it. A good example is Jeanette McCurdy, who's a normal feminist, actually said Jordan Peterson helped her when she was going through alcoholism and eating disorders. That's the girl from iCarly, right? Jeanette. Oh man, she's the one that made the book on I'm glad my mom is dead or something like that, right? She's had a hard life. Like, when she was going through all the stuff that she had been through that her mom put her through, and some of the shit that her mom said to her, that's really fucked up. Like, to me, that's what real like suffering and trauma and depression looks like. And even as she's recovering and doing her best, you can still see the pain in her and her trying to overcome it. Like, that's what it looks like to me. But shout out to her, man. She's come a long way from that stuff. Cause I couldn't imagine. It actually kind of sickens me that a lot of parents would just exploit their children for a variety of things. There's somebody, oddly enough, we brought him up earlier, Charlie, Moist Critical. He had a video that I ended up going down a bit of a rabbit hole. There was a drummer from a band. I want to say they're called Lost Paradise or something. And his name was Ethan. Jesus Christ. My memory's so fucking ass. Hold on. Lost something. Was it Lost Paradise? Ugh, I don't remember the guy's name, bro. I call it check my mom. I love my mom. We argue all the time. I feel that her saying she felt she had to be her character more than herself is actually disorder. The personalization. Damn, that's fucked up, bro. Why don't I remember this guy's name? You know what? I gotta go on YouTube and check my history. It's the only way that might help me. But yeah, Jen, whatever McCurdy, whatever her name is, she's been through a lot, bro. A lot. That's just so unfortunate. This guy has 11 million subscribers on YouTube. That's fucking crazy. The most evil singer ever.
I couldn't decide if this was
what the fuck is this guy's
a good
name?
idea for a video to make just because of how dark and disturbing it is. But earlier today I saw a thread on Twitter going around listing the most evil artists and musicians of all time. And absent from the list was by far the most evil singer to ever hit the mainstream, Ian Watkins.
Oh, Ian Watkins. I said Ethan. Ian Watkins. There we go. So, yeah, he basically, long story short, he did a lot of things he should have been doing with let's say the youth. But some mothers were putting their child up to do this stuff. Like oh yeah, like you can basically, do things that are not okay and not legal to my child. Just so I can have some 50 minutes of fame. I don't know what they're looking for, but the way that I see some parents sell out their children for like social, like good points for positive affirmation is insane to me. It's actually a lot of us, like the millennial generation, like my generation, we have fucked up royally. It's crazy, bro. It's well that there's this correction and correction in culture, but yeah, we still have child actors. I'll never forget the Buttersock. Shadeep. How do you feel about Disney evil but smartly using the black actress for the Little Mermaid to shield some criticism? I'll get on that in a second because I'm actually really tired of this backwards racism. Her mom shamed her, disowned her, and asked her for some money and all in one letter, which is crazy, right? Because she was with some guy. I remember because I was watching she interviewed somebody, but I think did she talk to Michaela Peterson? I think I watched that one too, but I'd seen that. Her it was always sad when your favorite TV show had a shitty history like that. I remember seeing that video. That was some of the most fucked up shit I ever heard. That's what I'm saying. Like, what? Like, bro, that man Ian Watkins is actually a monster because apparently he got even charged. The reason that he Lost Prophets, what they were called. I said Lost. What did I say? Lost in Paradise. Lost Prophets. Ian Watkins. Listen, at your own, like trigger warning, I guess. If you want to look that up yourself and figure that out, like that dude was really really messed up in the head. But yeah. When's the One Piece revision next? When One Piece is done. One Piece not done yet. How we gonna do a versus history when the series is not done? I did say I wanted to do one for Wano low-key, but what you will get soon now that Wano is over, you're gonna get the ranking the One Piece series part, whatever we're on, and the Wano stuff. So don't worry. But yeah, Shit, I had a point. Oh yeah, the Disney stuff. So here's my problem with a lot of this. I don't even know what to call it. But here's the thing. I care about competence and merit. That's the most important thing to me. From the time I was about how old was I in 2015? I don't know. 2015. Sometimes people come to me and say stuff like this, right? Now it's gonna be 40 whenever it's history stream. Before. Right? So liberal and progressive racism, I think in a lot of ways it's much worse and more detrimental than straight up overt racism. Racism is a word that I believe has lost its meaning, honestly. We throw the word misogyny, bigot, racist, whatever, the transphobe, whatever, at everything for no reason. I truly believe all these words have lost their power. That's what I think. You don't have to agree with that. I don't like the idea of Disney and certain companies creating these like shows where they make race swap or take minority actors or actors in the LGBTQ or a combination of both, right? BIPOC and like a part of that spectrum or that whatever community, and use them to shield themselves from any and all valid criticism. Are there people out there being a fucking dickhead? Yes. There always will be. It's the internet. What the hell do you expect? There'll be dickheads until the end of time, bro. That's what it is. There's some people out there who are just going to be malicious for malicious sake. But I've seen some people have legitimate criticism, men and women, about something like She-Hulk. Or something like, what's the Corduroy call it? The Ring-a-ling-a-ding-dong? The Rings of Power or whatever with like one of the elves, the girl, I don't remember her name, Gladriel or something like that. I don't know. Like, but you can't criticize it. You can't criticize. I saw a lot of people say the trailer for Little Mermaid, the teaser was boring. The color contrast was like whack because it wasn't vibrant like the movie. It looked dull. And I saw people simultaneously dunk on Aquaman, but give it credit for the underwater effect. Does that critique and criticism have anything to do with the actor or the actor's race? No. But what do? You're saying she's racist. I hate that shit. It's backwards. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's so fucking stupid and it's mad annoying. And I'm not a person I don't cry racism. I don't care. I don't try to like make everything about race because it's goddamn annoying to only judge people based on what you can visibly fucking identify. I care about character. I care about the intangibles. Who are you on the inside? Are you a dickhead or not? That's what I care about. I'm seeing that video. Like the singer and those parents deserve to rot. I feel disgusted hearing about it. Nah, he'd be 40, 70. Yeah, he's like right. 86. Ian Watkins, whatever his name is. Yeah, he's messed up, bro. Look what I came into. What's up, Miles? Sorry, mate. I'm not sure what you mean, though. This singer was a racist or something. Which singer? Oh, no, he was worse than that. Yeah. His name is Ian Watkins from Lost Paradise. By the way, the first scene of Black Elf in Lord of the Rings shows faces are racist in that scene. Listen, I could speak all day about like the backwards progressive movement of how they infantilize women and black people and minorities and make. Here's my problem with it. I want my people to operate from a position of strength. I'm not saying there weren't some things put in this world or put in this universe to help to hold us back, keep us down. Maybe we are starting the race from behind the starting line. Fair enough. But so many of us have overcome those circumstances. I've seen so many people come from nothing and become something, whether that's through entertainment, just studying, going against the grain of what's going on in your action input and overcoming that. I just prefer them to operate from a position of strength. I don't like stuff like affirmative action. I think that's racist. If there's a Ivy League school that says you need a 96 to get in and I have a 90, and you say, well, he's black, he has a 90, and the other 5 Asian kids, they actually got a 98, but we have too many, I'm going to let you in. That's discriminatory against them. How is that right? It's fucked up. I'm not okay with that. So, I don't know, man. But it's some scary times that we're living in because I will say this. My faith in humanity goes up, generally speaking, when I just converse with regular people outside in the real world. Like, trust me, just go outside and talk to people. Most people are kind of divorced from all of this internet mumbo jumbo, political warfare on Twitter and all kind of stuff. It's normal. Just talk to them. Just kind of keep them cognizant of what's really going on. But I actually want to show you guys something that happened in Ontario, which is kind of funny. I think I'll see if I can find it. We'll have to say I'm 35. I've never heard of him. True. So fuck him. You ain't missing on you ain't missing on anything. I don't know. And this episode was basically had a scene of MAGA folks saying elves take their jobs. Oh brother, they took our fucking South Park. I think it's brave folks like you call it as it is. I know other black people like you call you names. Yeah, I've been called Coon, Uncle Tom, Uncle Rocky, all kind of stuff before. It is what it is. My whole life. Call you names merely because you don't bootleg these companies and white people validation. Merit is significantly more important than factors for race and gender. It's wild to try and make a whole group of palatable for acceptances from others who dismiss them in an instant. I feel that. It's tough, man. The world's amoral. It doesn't care about our feelings. I saw you were in the chat, so I figured you wanted to be in this. So I hopped in the thingamajigger. But
Wow.
hella. I was supposed to do Kubera today. I'll do it tomorrow though. Maybe Wednesday. I don't know. No, I can't do it Wednesday. Thursday? Damn, Wednesday's One Piece. Whatever. Anyways, but yeah. How you doing, bro?
I'm chilling. I just came and I saw what you were talking about. You good? Yeah, I know this is a.
I honestly, it branched off because I had nothing to talk about, and I was just talking about like Twitch shit, like the gambling thing that I saw today. Then it like transitioned into other stuff, and so I'm here now. This is where my train of thought took me. But no, I mean, I don't. You know, me and you talk about this all the time. You know, you already know where I come from. Like I'm not with that coddling and infantilizing black people. But
Yeah,
I did see some crazy stuff. And again, it exists. I just don't like when they take like the minority crazy comments and say like everybody thinks this. Like relax.
Yeah, the issues with a lot of things is like there's always that fine line to walk, but it's like no one ever's on the fucking line. They're like everywhere else. So it's just it is like hard to talk about anything. I feel like in a really like productive manner. Because yeah, I like it's one of those things like I mean, I would say majority of the issues, if we're talking about Little Mermaid, are race based. Uh, but there are people that aren't giving certain criticisms like their due diligences. Because I would agree on the point of the from the trailer that I saw, the effects did look kind of like plain under the sea. I was like,
It is a
probably be a
teaser,
little bit
so
more
you know, have to take it
pretty.
with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
It's
it's a teaser. And I do think even the hair color is fair because there are two sides to that argument. I don't know if you saw the thing about the hair color because it
Someone's
is under.
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say because it's kind of like orangish brownish, but realistically that is how like wet red hair would look like.
Mm.
But again, it's also one of those things of like let's like use Aquaman for example. Mera still had very, very, very vibrant red hair.
Absolutely.
Underwater, and it looked fine. So like you could still have like your more what's the word I'm looking for? Qualities that like we well know from like animated storylines and adapt them in live action, and it could still look fine. So I think that's a fair thing. To say. I also kind of think I also understand the I don't want to say pain, but annoyance a certain like redhead people can deal with saying like that some of the representation goes out the window. Though I do find it weird when most redhead people that are white people say it, because like there are naturally ginger black people, and I feel like they're also disincluded in that, which is really weird. But I mean, that's how most ethnicities are.
Yeah. They're not a monolith. They don't always just look exactly and talk exactly and move exactly how you would dare represented in TV and stuff. I agree with that. I actually met one before. I was pretty shocked the first time I met one. It actually reminded me the first time I met a white Jamaican. He was speaking patois. I'm like, bro, what just happened?
Yeah, like
I said, yo, you sound better than me.
the one thing that I've learned, especially the older I get, is like how fluid, because it's one of those weird things of how like you realize how in terms of human history how new the concept of race is, and then how fluid, I guess, more so ethnicity is,
Okay.
right? Like I remember this was recent, but I remember because even I didn't know this, but like but it makes sense. I'm trying. I can't remember the actual ethnicity group, but it's a section of Asian people that live in Russia. I forget what they're called, but they've been native there their entire life. But racially, they look Asian, right?
Mm.
But they are, for all intents purposes, always been Russian. And I forget the name of what they're called. But I remember there was one of the girls of like that ethnicity was explaining. I think it was on TikTok or Twitter. They're like, "Oh, you're not Russian." It's like, bro, my family's been here since like it's always existed. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But since she looks racially Asian, they're like, dude, you have to be like Chinese or something. Like that's not how that works. Like
Someone
people,
said Serbian. I don't know if that's right though. I don't know. Is that it?
I don't think it's Serbian.
Mm.
It may be, but I don't know why. I want to say it starts with a Y, but maybe I'm tripping.
Mm.
But I don't. No, I don't think it's Serbia because Serbia is fucking something else. I think maybe I might be tripping, but I don't think it's Serbia.
Okay.
But yeah, stuff like that.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, KGH.
I don't care about the cinematic criticisms.
It
It's
might
the
be
you wouldn't like it if
Yugoslavian.
we made Black Panther white comments that piss me off. Skin color isn't a core part of her character. Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying. Because honestly, there's is it Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
That picture with him coming out, said the Black Panther. I won't lie to you. That shit funny as fuck to me. That should be making me laugh. He's like, that's tell shit over. That's so funny to me. But I hear you. I don't like the whataboutism or what if we blah blah like that. That to me is not a good argument. Like if you have a counterpoint to something that I'm saying, just say it. I don't like whataboutism. It's very lazy to me. Not gonna lie, man.
Yeah, I
Hold
don't think
on.
it's.
Catch a comment real quick. Not gonna lie, never been in real life. Not gonna lie, merit's never been real in the past. You have to be overqualified if you're not white just to be accepted, and now you kind of have to, and now they kind of have to put a couple in regardless of their merit. But that's about it. They get to like 2%. They don't care no more. For real, not even Hans Christian Book talked about a race. There's an example of Rihanna with bright red hair that could have been used for the movie. You know, ginger, black, white, it shows in the same way we are. There's folks who are saying nobody had an issue with Dragon Ball Evolution to defend Little Mermaid shit. How did Dragon Ball Evolution get into this? He said my Jamaican brother was with my maple syrup. I don't eat maple syrup. All right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say.
Oh, so so Serbia's its own country. I don't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not. It's not
is it
Serbia.
Yugoslavian? Is that it?
I don't think it's Yugoslavian because I think you guys are talking about countries. It's like just a demographic with their own names, kind of like how you would say like Inuits, right? Like I don't think Inuits are like specifically only. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a better way to say it, but no, yeah, to the point of like the Chadwick Boseman thing or even the Dragon Ball. One that is true, like Goku and that's white, but Goku's also an alien. But it's one of those weird things that he should racially probably look Asian, but I do think it's so many of those comparisons aren't fair because they're not taking the actual context of what the characters are. Like a good way in which I would even look at this. Like let's look at Disney, right? Brave, I think, is a white character that's extremely interconnected with her whiteness, right? Which she's Irish, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Brave?
Yes, I have. That's the movie with the girl with the arrow. Or something.
And her mom turns into the bear, right?
Her mom turns into a bear? Nah, I didn't see that. Never mind.
Yeah, she has she has red hair, but she does use arrows. Yeah, but her mom turns into a bear.
Is it? Hold on. Is it Yakuts?
That low-key sounds like it could. I think that
I'll
might
type
be
it in the chat because I just googled it and you let me know if it's
That might be it.
Did I not copy it? What did I just do? What? Oh, source code. Hey yo. Did not ask for all that.
But and I think people in the chat could attest to this. For the girl that's in Brave, the the small cultural references, the way they speak, the overarching story is very intrinsically tied with their European like culture. That's a story that if you would change it to any other race, it would unironically make no sense. In the same vein as a Mulan or a Moana. You see what I'm saying? Those are stories that their race does play an intrinsic part of the storytelling. Little Mermaid, it's Atlantis. King Triton has 7 daughters from the 7 seas, which probably means that all of his daughters could arguably be from different races. I even think Ariel's based off the Red Sea, which is by North Africa and a few other places. I think it's by close to Ethiopia too. I forget where the Red Sea. I think it's in that little area underneath the Middle East and above Africa. Is that where the Red Sea is? I think so.
Mhm.
So those being different races and then being sea folks that don't have an actual, they're not really connected with other things because mermaids have a cultural history in many different parts of the world, not just Danish people. I don't know why that's all they say. But
Because I think because it's a. I thought it was Dutch, but I was wrong. It's a Danish
oh
folklore or mythology.
yeah, but I mean,
An argument
mermaids have
that I
existed
made. No.
everywhere.
I heard you, but I got you.
Yeah.
My argument has always been that I think that we have enough folklore in our cultures, whether it's Jamaica, Africa,
Yes.
and all the stuff that we can
Yes.
make our own
1000%.
stories like this. I don't think we need
Yes.
to usurp it from somebody else. But I honestly think they did this on purpose. I really do. I don't think this was. I think this was a calculated thing they do because they like to use them as a shield. I didn't realize how long they've been doing this, but they've been doing it. Maybe a little bit even before. I don't remember the actor's name. I think she played Rose in Disney. Disney. Wow, did Star Wars? You know what I'm talking about the Asian girl?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Apparently they like bullied her off social media, but
Also, I do think it actually is Yakut's. I think that is what I was talking about. But yeah, sorry, go on.
okay. Yeah, it's all about family and legacy. Most of us in the East really care about representation here. We just think if we look like the character, but I realize this representation shit isn't for us. It's Asian African American. So specifically the 6 republics that make up the Federation: Bosnia, and I can't say that, Croatia, Macedonia, is that Montenegro?
Montenegro.
Nah, Montenegro, Serbia, including region of some Slovenia. Okay.
Kosovo and Vojvodina.
Listen, I know English, I know French, Italian.
So,
It's not hard for me, and neither is Spanish, and that's all I got for y'all. Okay, shout out to Sister Ariel. There you go. That's all I got for you guys. Okay, I stay in my lane. I know languages that I could understand and say and pronounce.
Triton is the son of Poseidon, so it is a weird thing of like you know how some of those stories are. They take bits and pieces from other things. Yeah. And because in Triton had 4 daughters, but in this he has 7. So like, it's one of those things. Like, yeah, they take liberties when they take shit from other whatever cultures, if you will.
Yeah, but I'm
Like
kind
you
of
were
where you're
saying,
at, KG. Like with me in general, like because I almost forgot to say this. So in 2015, right, it was the first time someone ever said this to me. Where it's like, yo, you gotta peep this. This Image comic series is coming out. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, what's up? And he's like, bro, all black creators, artist, writer, inker, colorer, whatever, black. And I looked at him, and I just gave him the same thing that I do to everyone else. But is it good though? Sorry, like, I'm not saying you shouldn't support people. I'm not even saying representation is unimportant. I generally believe with these type of things, there's a middle ground. The problem with us is we always overcorrect. We spend so much time with TV over here and blah, 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 and it was mostly white people, yada, yada, blah, blah. I get that. Then we overcorrect. That's the problem that I generally have. Like, there's probably a middle ground that works. But I don't care who makes the shit. I just want it to be a good product. That's all I've ever asked. If you're suggesting me a comic and you say, oh, the creators of this are all on the LGBT, all I'm going to look at you and say, is it fucking good? I don't care. If it's not good, it's not moving me. I like to read, play, and watch shit that's of quality. Now, sometimes that mid be hit. Not gonna lie, I may be hitting sometimes, but generally speaking, I'm here to have fun and be entertained. I don't care if fucking 2 rats made this shit. The rats cooked up some fire. I'm in there. Okay, that's how I work. I'm simple though. I don't complicate my life needlessly with all this extra shit.
I think the way I
I'm
look
also
at
old.
this is ancient. I usually go to the vein of I'm more open and willing to try them, but that doesn't mean like I will drop everything and say they're the greatest things of all time or necessarily finish it.
That's
But I'm
fair.
more, but if I hear like, oh, there's like maybe like a creator of a certain like, I'm like yeah, I'm gonna try and probably support because there's a history of them not being supported. I often do wonder sometimes. This is going kind of into what do you call it when like people think there's like these weird things going on, but it's like nah, probably not conspiracy.
Oh, conspiracy theories.
I
Yeah.
I often wonder uh if certain stories like bad stories are kind of like filtered through and let go. So they have an excuse of saying, "See, this is dog shit. This is why we shouldn't like put this much stock into like certain cultural stories." If that makes sense. I wonder how often like
I
that
have
happens. If
actually
it
heard
does,
one person say that the point of a lot of this stuff is to prove how stupid it is. So we
that's
can
what I feel
so
like.
we can
That's the
go
case
back
with
to
certain
regular
things.
the regular world and regular life. I'm actually like again, I am not a conspiracy theorist or a theory crafter in general, but I've actually heard that, and I'm like, sometimes
Because
like
some,
I'm like, I don't, it is
cause
like
some shit you see is just like, how this is just
this is a
bad. How did
South
this
this is a
get through?
South Park episode. Like we can't be this lost, right? So I hear
Yeah,
you. I hear you.
cause certain shit I see that gets like filtered through. I'm like, there's just no way. Because I see some shit that's just terrible.
Yeah, I got you.
Uh,
I love
yeah.
that.
So that's something I've been curious about. I had
That's
another point, but I forgot it. I have to think about it.
what's up, Vince?
Good, man.
Hello, Vince.
Actually, Vince, you can highlight stuff here because you watch it. What you like you've been enjoying Rings of Power so far and how far it is.
Yeah, what about it?
What's good about it? Just talk to us. What's up? Are they
You wanna know
overreact?
what's
Are they overreacting over there? They're doing too much.
Listen, man, I can't tell people how to react anymore. I don't care. Do whatever you want. If you think it fucking sucks, well, it fucking sucks. But I like it. I think there's some pretty good character moments. It's pretty beautiful. I mean, it's not completely fleshed out yet. I don't know why we're reacting to things that barely going into episode 5. But I think there's some things there. Is it all
No, we can't.
perfect?
We
No.
can't. We can't do that. We can't do that because remember how many times have people done that to us with like Tower of God and stuff? We're like, you don't know what could happen. I'm like, yo, it's fair to criticize what's already out, and I could change my mind later if I'm proven wrong.
No, I agree with that. I'm not saying that, but I'm just
Oh,
saying
okay.
that like I could hate it like literally by the end of the show or by the end of the next not end of the show, I mean end of the season or the beginning of next season. But for right now, all I know is that to me there's just like there's nothing here to like they're just like so bad, but like people got their opinions about it. But for me, I guess I guess the difference is that people the moment this even became a thing, they were already gonna hate it. There was no chance they were gonna like it. So now you're just committing in confirmation bias. Like you were never going to like this show. It had no chance in your eye.
Hmm.
So to me, it's just kind of like, well, it was kind of done from day one for a lot of y'all. But that's whatever. Like I said. But for me, I like some of the characters. I like how beautiful it looks. I like, especially the elf. But I'm an elf merchant.
Do you like
Uh,
Galadriel? Because that's the one person that I don't know who that is. Kind of I think maybe
she's the
heard of it,
main.
but
She's the main female
that seems to
protagonist.
be
She's
the
the
biggest
one.
complaint from what I can see. Because there's like, yo, she's a fucking annoying, whiny something Karen. That's what I
But
get.
she's not
And
whiny.
she's
Like I
supposed to
don't.
be. I have no frame of reference, brother. I don't know. I'm just
No,
telling you
no,
what
no.
I
But I'm,
seen
but,
to
I'm,
the
but I
grapevine.
don't get that. I don't get that criticism because it's not like see, because I don't know. Maybe I just got like a more extreme version of what I perceive as whiny and shit like that.
Mm.
Because like when I think of whiny, I think of somebody like these fucking kind of like characters that are just like, because when people say they throw in like woke shit or something like that, I'm thinking you throwing in things that would like be in like modern society and obviously trying to make some stupid ass point about fucking trying to make like feminist commentary or something like that that's not relevant to what's going on in the story or not. Or if a woman's being a bad person, somehow you flip it around to being like, well, I'm a woman every day of my life, so you can't tell me how to feel and stuff like that. Like, you're right, I can't. But I can tell you that you're not a good person because you're not. That's different. I don't know what they're upset about with this in particular or something like that. But to me, like, she's not white or nothing like that. She is a woman that is consumed with rage and hatred that lasts longer than normal because she's a fucking elf. So everything she does is consumed from the standpoint is she's trying to get revenge and she's not gonna let nobody rest. Nobody on her team or nothing like that. They be like, hey yo, why are we doing this? Why do you keep wanting to do that? Why do you want to do that? And she just like, listen, y'all think the mission over? The mission not fucking over. You know, if you want to think she's annoying from that standpoint, I guess. But she just like her mission just not done. Some of her people gone, and she's just gonna keep going until she get revenge.
Mm.
So I guess if that's annoying to you, you know, fair enough. But
You know me, I don't
I
consume,
don't
I don't
see.
consume nothing anymore. I'm so divorced from all this. I just like commenting on
I
the
mean, I could show
chaos.
you I could show you an episode, but I just don't get what's annoying about her.
Well,
Well,
Lord
yeah,
of the
you don't
Rings.
like Lord of the Rings
I
per
don't care
se.
if Lord of
What's
the Rings
annoying
like that.
about her? Well, what are they saying is annoying about her? Because I don't get it.
I don't know.
I,
There's,
I mean,
I'll send you one of the articles I read later. I think it's on Forbes. Because it just sounded like that guy knew what he was talking about. Talking about she's from the first age, and he named some other character, and he was like, and he said that person said he liked the first 2 or 3 episodes or something like that, and then it went off the rails for him. But I don't know. I don't get. I'm just
Off the
a
rails
lot,
when it's only
a
done
lot,
one more
a
episode. This is
lot
what
of
I'm talking about.
a
This
lot of these things.
commentary
I'm
is
just commenting
discontinuous.
from an outsider's perspective. I don't know nothing.
I get that, but here's my thing, right? When you do these things, it's not criticism of you, nothing like that. But my thing is, you're just reading what other people are putting on the thought and stuff like that, and you know that's a way to consume it. But at the end of the day, that does nothing for you unless you care about watching it for yourself. You don't. You don't give a fuck about this at all. So it doesn't do anything for you at the end of the day. The only thing it's doing for you is keeping you in the loop of what's going on. But
It's one of those things because like I can't remember who said this, but they said I think is it politics or downstream from culture. I'm starting to believe that, so I'm trying to stay aware of what's happening culturally. That's all. It's kind of like
I get
keeping
that.
my
But
ear to the ground, but not going
this is
overboard.
kind of a thing that like, how do I put this? It's kind of a thing that's kind of like kind of different on its own on its own kind of like merit because this is something based off of something that's like 100 years old now, and like the
I have
people
no
who
idea.
read it, they're like no, like Tolkien's like really old, like niggas like from like World War II, like
yeah, it's
I did not
super
I did
old.
not know that actually.
that's what I'm saying. So like the people who read it have like
I
this
think
faithful adaptation that is supposed to be sticking to like how he wrote it in a certain way, and they're like Tolkien wouldn't like it, and my thing is like, okay, so
also
here's the
like
thing, right? People like the Lord of the Rings movie, right? They think those movies are right. Well, the Tolkien estate didn't like those movies. As far as I know, they didn't like those Lord of the Rings movies. I'm not talking about The Hobbit either. I'm talking about the original Lord of the Rings movie.
The Peter
They
Jackson's
didn't like
well,
it.
actually Peter Jackson did the Hobbit
Yeah,
too though, didn't he? I don't remember.
yeah. The original Peter Jackson series, they don't like those either.
Mm.
So
oh,
you're saying Tolkien would have liked this? Well, if you go by that, they don't like anything.
also like
So
Vince,
like, why would this be any different?
Vince, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also to your point, right? Doesn't like main because there's 3 ages, and I know there's the Silmarillion and all this other extra shit of like different timelines. But even for like the current Rings of Power show, like it's one of those things like you like being a faithful adaptation literally like couldn't happen because of how spread apart timelines are. So you have to congest certain things or like
Right, exactly. It's a different medium.
combine like certain like timelines or either you're probably gonna get something that like you can't have actors going through 300 years and every episode's like a fuck like it doesn't work. Like you have to like make certain
Yeah,
leeways and make certain changes if you're gonna have it as a TV show or movie.
And honestly, I don't think they waited. I'll be honest with you, because the way people were spreading disinformation and shit like that when it first started, like they were posting that nasty fucking intro that's nothing close to the real intro of how it looked. People were like, "Oh, the intro's gonna look like that. It's gonna be fucking like it wasn't even an intro, nothing even close.
Also,
It had
also
a
wasn't
fucking watermark at the bottom.
also wasn't everybody shitting on the one person? Wasn't that not even Sauron to begin with?
Yeah,
Oh,
like they're
yeah,
doing all sorts
The
of shit
Eminem
like that.
guy.
that wasn't Sauron. Yeah,
That
that
what
wasn't
redneck
Like we
guy?
don't know,
Sauron.
we don't even know who Sauron is. There's like potentially like 3 different versions
Oh,
of
she's
people who think
cheating.
he's
When's she
Sauron.
leaving? Sorry.
And I'm not gonna lie, the image that I did see of Sauron, I think that maybe it was the first episode. He looked cold in his armor. He was looking good. He was
Like
looking
that's what
good.
I'm talking about. The people have decided from the very moment that it came out that they weren't gonna like it. That's why I don't even bother with that shit. Don't get me wrong. If it sucks, I'll be the first person to tell you that it fucking sucked. Cause you think I want it to be bad? like
I
like
I
or
I think
like I'm not even saying it's like a 10 out of 10. I don't believe it's like a 10. I believe it's like an 8 right now, and that's good enough for me.
the reason why a lot of these things, like the conversations with a lot of these things, and I feel like at least a lot with new age like media and like all these things of like changing gender. The reason why I get annoyed with a lot of these things is because like as a kid growing up, as a black kid, I was forced for the most part to find different ways to connect with a lot of characters that didn't look like me because most people didn't
Yep.
look like me, right? So there there's always like I had to find ways to grasp at straws to be like, okay, I connect with this person because of certain maybe a personality trait or some things, which in all honesty is probably the good thing to do, right?
Mhm.
So but however, so it allowed me to be able to I guess not sympathize, but connect with a lot of different characters that don't look like me, and I'm able to now connect with a multitude of different characters of multiple different mediums of different backgrounds of different things that aren't black people, which I think is a good skill to have, actually. But then my issue now is that when I see a lot of white people, when them being the majority, them always having the ability to see themselves in these storytellings to the point when let's look at a lot of books that we read, right? It's so de facto that you don't get character descriptions, but it's automatically assumed that they're white, and that's often the case.
Yep.
And I feel like that's lost, but that's a huge point of showing how ingrained it is. So my issue is that when I see certain white people not even being willing to try and engage with stories that don't look like them because they themselves don't believe that they can connect with people that don't look like them. And that's what bothers me. And I can
Yeah.
see
It's
that in the way in
absolutely the
which
same.
they engage and comment on things because certain stories aren't even out yet and they're raging. That's when I have an issue. If you watch it and it's dog shit, that's fine. A lot of shit sucks.
Yeah.
That's okay. And that's okay. But engage faithfully with it first.
Right. Another thing to add what you said, because it's beautiful, because I feel the exact same way. That's part of the reason I had to connect with characters based off of the content of their character
Which is good.
rather than based off how they look, because I couldn't do that. I had to connect with characters because I genuinely thought that they look cool and shit like that. Or I genuinely thought that they fucking, that their character was good or it related to me somehow. But also for me, when it comes to this, is that even the characters that are quote unquote black in this show, they're not even important. A lot of them, or not like to the point where like it should bother you to that degree. Like if Galadriel was black, maybe I would see your point. She not. There's like a single black elf. Okay, like no elf should be black. Period.
let me throw out an idea, because I would argue I understand the frustration a little bit. I think I see why. I am not justifying this, by the way. It kind of reminds me of the concept, the idea, I always said this for a while, where it's like, actually, I quote you a lot when you say this, because like I think the word that you chose was perfect. Overcorrecting, overcorrections, right? Again, throughout the majority of time or TV, whatever, blah blah blah, you know what it was, right? You know how we were shown or whatever the case is. I just think at this point they're going so far in the other direction. All you're going to do is make them feel the way that we did, but they already had that representation. So you took it from them as far as they're concerned. They're probably still doing too much. I'm sure most shows still have a bunch of white people and this and that and blah blah X, Y, and Z. But it's a thing that I was trying to say to my friend one time about the whole Lily Singh controversy. I think she had a show or a late night show or something. It didn't go well. She was overworked with like production.
The one
stuff.
YouTuber, right?
Yeah. But she would go on there and just basically bash straight white men. And I'm like, do you know there's gonna come a point they're going to fight back, right? They'll take this for now because a lot of them like, oh, I feel guilty, you need a right, blah blah. But they're gonna get fed up, and I just don't understand why no one understands that. Anything that can happen, there'll be an opposite reaction of equal force or greater force. It's always been like that for the entirety of humanity. So I say we stop with the overcorrecting and find a proper middle ground before this should just become some crazy ass 19 something whatever. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you. A lot of people want to go back to that. That's the problem, and not just white people.
Yeah,
there's black people who want to go back to that too. There's black people who call for things like
segregation. Yeah, I've seen that. That's stupid.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm like, that's
we're
crazy,
not,
bro.
We're not dealing with them niggas. But let me say this now: you are correct, right? There's always going to be a way in which you have to engage with people because just calling people names or shitting on them isn't the right way to do it because it doesn't get anywhere. People are survivalists. They're always going to fight back. I agree, right? However, I think the issue is that I think there's certain cases that aren't overcorrectness that are unfortunately placed in as such. And I think it's already at such a volatile state that even the small changes are looked at as in such a poor light already, as we can see. Like, let's look at Star Wars, right? Finn. John Boyega got a lot of slack. And this was a new story that most people always agree with. Let's create new stories, right? So Disney did a sequel. They created a new story. They had a stormtrooper, which at this point were switched out from the old clones, right? And it was a black guy. And look what happened. Rage.
And his thing is, he's not even like a thing where it's like they're constantly trying to make comments about his skin and him being black. Because I get it. Trust me, I get annoyed with that too. Like putting a black character in the series does not automatically all of a sudden mean that the whole entire thing got to be based off race now. I get annoyed with that. Trust me, I do.
And but that's my point. Like even in Star Wars thing, right? We're in a story set in a galaxy. With multiple different alien races. The human race is extremely prominent. Yeah. So having one black person that was a stormtrooper makes logical sense in story, yet there's all this controversy around it. Now let's look at
that Star Destroyers. That's what the prevailing argument was at the time. But I think by the time the Empire rose, it was no longer like that. It would have made sense if you flipped the trilogy from the prequel to the sequels. Because originally, yes, the clone army were the clones of one person. I think it was Boba Fett. So I think that was the whole thing really behind it. But obviously, some people will take it too far, and to protect their asset and try to get good publicity or publicity in general, they're going to over embellish all the bad comments and racist comments and be like, be better,
yeah. So and then. So Star Wars is an example of something that was new. It wasn't a retelling of anything. That was a new story. And when they added one singular character that was black in it, that was going to be a relatively main character, outrage happened. Now let's look at fucking Marvel. We can look at Captain America. Steve Rogers went through an entire character arc through multiple movies. His character arc ended, and he passed his mantle, as most superheroes do, to Sam Wilson. And look at the outrage that caused. So I think there are certain instances that we can look at that aren't overcorrectness that still have giant backlashes. So that's why sometimes I'm a little skeptical to go straight to the overcorrectness part because I feel like even when you nudge a little, it's already looked at in such a poor light. So at this point, it's like, what can you do?
I definitely feel what you're saying because the problem is sometimes though is that I don't want to give those people, even though I do, because I'm the one who said it. I believe there's overcorrection with some of this stuff. I definitely do. They try to put stuff in places that you didn't they necessarily have to do that. But I also don't want to give those people a fucking an out for their behavior and how they're acting about shit like that. Because some of that shit is
Artist
ridiculous.
Destroyer, I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of disagree based off on-screen things we saw in Marvel. I know you want to say it because like Bucky knew him 60 years prior and stuff like that. But I mean, he went through an entirely different change and became an entirely different individual once
And
he
also
turned
for
into the Winter
something like
Soldier.
this, like they didn't try to like with the Marvel example you did, they weren't trying to paint Sam Wilson as Steve Rogers. Like
Yeah, he was his own character. He's his
he
own person.
own character that just happened to be the new Captain America.
Yeah,
They weren't the same person, and not like we erased Steve Rogers and put this guy in his place. That's not what happened.
yeah.
Still whack.
Steve Rogers did his thing. I mean, do I like Falcon? No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I think his connection with Steve taking him on the mantle and then working together and actually being friends through the Marvel movies, and Steve willingly pass it to him. That's fine. That was his choice, and that's okay. It's not that deep. So my point then, going back to you, Naya, in the cases where we do have small changes that I think make logical, in-universe sense, but it's still met with such backlash, then what do we do?
People don't like change.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's the bigger argument. That what you just said is what people should say. I don't want this thing that was so precious to me when I was younger to have these modern changes. I wanted to feel like what it did like that. But the problem is, for some of them, what that was is all white, and that's the problem.
I mean, fair. Again, you know me. I'm a fan of building your own table and then bringing your own people to the
I agree.
table instead of trying to get a seat at the table that they already built. That's just how that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just how I look at it. But the main thing with me that really to like crystallize this whole thing is I just think it's ridiculous that we're even having this conversation in general. You're just like, who fucking cares?
I agree because it should never be.
I've been downplaying how important pop culture and culture is to our societies because I just see this stuff as art and literature, just a game or just a movie, just a whatever. But I realize how important all this stuff is. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just
some
tough.
people get their news from shows, you know.
Yeah, I can
or like
believe it.
ideas or political leanings, so to speak. Like Homelander is obviously like a Trump type character with the way that they portray him in The Boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very much so.
Like to the point where I think the third season to me made a little bit too on the nose, but that's just my opinion.
Hold on, KGH.
No, I kind of agree with you.
I'm gonna say this as someone who regularly goes to the movie theater. This year has been a pretty good year of new movies with some pretty good ideas. Okay, that I'm gonna say that. I just want to say that because I know there was definitely a time period where we were in an extremely huge remake era. But this year, we have some really good original movie ideas. That's all I'm going to say. BSR.
No, I was gonna switch gears and then probably wrap it up because one, I'm tired of the day yet. I had an interesting conversation with my pops. One thing I appreciate about my dad is he's like a history encyclopedia. Like he's a historian for real. He's like, I'm the complete opposite. I don't know shit about nothing but any time period. If you ever heard me reference something correctly from a time period, just know that it wasn't me. I'm quoting my dad. More often than not, I don't know shit. what I found that was pretty interesting that he kind like I made its connection because I was looking at something for the other channel, and I realized that pretty much every generation has had their own environmental crisis, to the point that there was even something called global cooling. I don't remember if this is a silent generation. I think it's before my parents. My parents were said their generation was pretty much ozone layer and acid rain. For me, from what I remember, it was Al Gore, The Inconvenient Truth, or something like that. We were talking about global warming and the ice caps
Yep.
melting, and that there would be less polar bears or something like that. And apparently, I didn't factor this. I'll do it right now after I say this. Apparently, there's like more polar bears, so he was wrong about that. And like now it's climate change. I just thought it was fascinating. We always have like some weird environmental crisis that we're like pretending to care about. I will say this though. We can't all be better stewards of the earth. I've always said that. And I'm someone who cares about that stuff. I do. Just not to the point that where I want to shoot normal people in the foot so they can't do what they need to do.
Nah, well, I'm sorry. I'm Star Destroyer. Saying the Earth harms itself more than humans, I think, is a crazy fucking statement. I think that's insane. I think that's insane.
Hmm.
I just don't think you could give 100% to caring about every issue. We just
Yeah, you
can't.
can't.
You
You
just
can't.
don't have the energy.
Dude, caring
or-
about one major issue is already tiring.
But
And
have
I
you,
just
but,
get it.
but
I
have
just
you but have you seen what they've been doing all across the world with like nitrogen emission and carbon emission and stuff like that? They're shooting everyone in the foot. They can't do nothing. In California, they're apparently trying to like ban gas cars by 2035, but the grid can't even handle all that stuff. And they're telling people not to charge their Teslas. It's really backwards. It's really strange. In the Dutch Netherlands and stuff, there was the farmer revolt. They were shooting at the farmers, telling them to use less, whatever. It's just really weird stuff going on. And I'm almost like,
No,
why,
I definitely hear what
why
you're
piss
saying.
off the farmers? I'm trying to eat, bro. Please.
I guess
Please.
sometimes for me it's like, well, something for that's like really important. So I get what you say with that. But sometimes for me with some of this stuff, it's kind of like I've told you before. These end up to me just sometimes I can't continue to read all this stuff because it's isolated incident unless it becomes to a point where they
Actually, no, it's
actually
happening in Canada too. They're doing it to our farmers.
no, that's what I said. I said that one's important. That's different. But I just say some of the stuff that we talk about is such isolated incident that it's just like, man, unless I see that shit happen like
Let me throw
10
you,
or 15 separate
let
times
me throw
or
you
it
a
happens
hypothetical, because I actually don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, but it's an argument that's been used a lot of the times, and the line moves so slowly and it inches ever so slightly, you don't even realize it until a decade later. A lot of the stuff that's happening today, a lot of people were saying, we're not doing this, we don't care about that, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's exactly what they're doing. But if you had said that in 2016, it'd be like, come on, bro, like relax. In 2022, it's evolved to this point. So I do think that while I understand what you're saying, I do think it's dangerous to kind of just be like, it won't happen, because anything is possible in this world. So at one point, I thought they were over embellishing the like weird shit at school, with the teachers being crazy and weird. It's not as uncommon as you think. I promise. Even because I've spoken to my like the actual real life parents over here, who are starting to try to send their kids to private school or thinking about homeschooling and stuff like that, because they have no. We have laws over here. I don't know if I think I told you this once, Vince. If as a parent I don't kind of affirm my child's gender identity, I could lose my kid. They'll take him from me. If I have a 4-year-old boy and he tells me he's a girl and I say no, you're not, they could take my child from me.
Yeah, that's wild. That's what
I'm
it
about
does
to
in
show you.
Canada.
I'm about to show you the. I think I posted it in the group, but I'm gonna show you the Ontario teacher who came with the ridiculous big like prosthetic breasts. Give me a second. I'm gonna put it on the screen too, just to crystallize and highlight. This is not far. This is in my province. So for anyone who's like from America or the UK or somewhere else, a province would basically be the equivalent to a state. So I'm from the state of Ontario, if you will. That's kind of how I see it, at least. I don't know. All right. Put this was a big thing. I even saw it on the news when I was here, right? So this was a male teacher that was already going to this school, right? And I think well, I guess her now, Lemieux, teaches shop. And you can see here, this person is operating the machinery with loose clothing, but this is not safe. Loose hair, that's not safe, and no actual like nothing on you. Like that's not cool and stuff. Some kids were complaining and everything, and I don't necessarily think this is like a good or a bad thing. I don't know what to make of this. The only thing that I find strange is anytime parents are like concerned about something, teachers and school board, they just defend it. Because here's the issue that I think Brianna brought up to me that I think is a good point. Because I've seen this in my life myself, right? I have seen women teachers who are naturally voluptuous and busty be reprimanded for looking that way. Even in modest clothing. There's nothing they can do. They have a big ass, they have a nice waist, and they have a big chest. And they're being reprimanded and being told to change or blah, 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 or cover up more solely due to they can't do anything about that. This asshole could wear comically large-sized tits and walk to school and no one said nothing about that. That's backwards to me. I'm not fucking with that. I thought that was a fair point because I witnessed that even in my own school. Because I won't lie to you, one of my teachers, you know what I'm saying, I was looking, I was not paying attention to class. So I just find that was just like a weird thing to do, kind of like
See,
go so.
I guess
but
also,
last thing, the law protects them though, because you can't discriminate against clothing, gender expression, and all the stuff over here in Ontario. We're not allowed to.
see, that's the thing. That's funny, but that's the thing I'm just about to say. The problem is sometimes the way that stuff that happens in your country is that, well, I can't say this for sure, but it seems that y'all are all connected basically to the same like laws everywhere, huh? Or is it different certain places?
No, it's different. Like it's kind of like we do have some things that are different, kind of like by state. But I think Ontario. But yeah, but in Ontario for the most part.
Well, y'all just
most
have
school
less
boards-
states than us. For us, it's just like we have 50 different states. So even though there are federal laws and shit like that, sometimes I'm just not bothered by a certain example. It's because unless we got to a point where every single state was red or every single state are blue, that's kind of like I guess you could say part of the beauty, quote unquote, of this system is that there's not one governing party that's allowed to fully thrive because they were supposed to put all these checks and balances into place in the first place.
We're
There's
also
like
not a bipartisan country. We have like 6 parties. So
Yeah, bipartisan
Oh.
sucks.
there you
we
go.
have the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, the Green Party, New Democratic Party, Québécois Bloc, and I'm forgetting one. But
Because
and
like I see
obviously
stuff.
independents run too. But yeah, we don't
France
just
got
have
like 20.
we don't just have Republicans and Democrats. I think that shit is
Yeah, that's part of the problem we have
hyper-polarizing
now
the
that
country
people
in
started
ways
realizing.
that I've never seen before. But it's over here too. Liberals versus conservatives. We have it over here too. The hyperpolarization.
No, I'm just saying that like something like how you stated that thing in California. California is doing all that shit. That shit would never happen in Texas. So that shit is like almost like not real to me unless I move over there. There's
People
that
saying
could
that
be
your
the
country
furthest
needs a
thing.
peaceful divorce, where blue states just do their blue state stuff and red states do their red state stuff. I don't know though.
But that's kind of how like conservative parties look at the whole damn thing. Kinda is that states' rights should be states' rights. State rights should have the right to choose. If you don't like it, get out.
I just feel like America's political parties are just in a literal cold war. That's what I just feel like this is. It's a cold war.
Depending on who you ask, you guys are in a 5th generational civil war. So I don't know.
Wait, what?
They always say that,
Well,
but
I'm not
if
telling you.
we're in
I'm just telling you.
No, I know. I'm
Warfare,
just saying,
warfare now is with technology in the flow of
yeah, that's what I was
information.
just, well, yeah, that's what I was
Oh,
gonna say. I said, I said we have that. There's never gonna be a physical war in the standpoint that how they keep saying it's gonna be. I said we're past all that. There's no
I thought you were
more.
like alluding to how people like making jokes about the race war. I thought that's what you were saying.
Oh no, because like Civil War back then was like pew pew fight, and now it's just
Yeah, like actually,
it's like
it's
demonize
cold
them,
war,
demonize
cold-
them. No, culture jam
Yeah.
them, culture jam them. Like it looks different now. That's all.
That sounds like a sweet ass move in a video game.
Man, I guess for me sometimes too is that stuff really does work because of everybody, being on the cell phones and recording everything and stuff like that. But at the same time, it don't work at the same time because, like I said, real life is just so completely different from what the niggas be trying to put on the internet.
The
That's why I
the
don't.
only issue is just, I just feel like we're just evolving at. It's just ever since fuck, wow, dude, it's so late. I can't even think. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, we have just been evolving at such a rate. I feel like we just can no longer keep up with what we're making, and I think we're consistently just playing catch up.
We
That
have
a lot
no
of
idea of
policies,
the long term effects and
yeah,
ramifications that all this technology is gonna have.
because policies often can't catch up with a new breakthrough in technology. So who knows what the new breakthrough in technology could affect people financially, emotional. Like there's like it's just, and I think it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Uh, but it's just
Well, this is
like
why I
even like
keep talking
a good
about.
example. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. This is why keep talking about like jobs when they fight about when we're still in this country fighting about, oh, fucking people from other countries come and take these jobs. I'm like, y'all do realize that we don't have like these factory jobs that y'all think we do, right? They import all that shit overseas. We almost don't make nothing here no more. Like
The Federal Reserve
America
keeps
gets,
printing so much fucking money. That's one of the problems you guys are having.
yeah, that's been a problem. That's been a problem for like 20 years. But like they don't make stuff here no more. So people talk about making their job. I'm just like, first of all, part of that's the business owner's fault because they're hiring these people because it's cheaper. They don't want to do that. They want to hire you and give you benefits for none of that. You have a union and you having rights and shit like that, but they can just pay somebody who just got here. And the other thing is that we just don't have those type of jobs anymore. Unfortunately, the only people who kind of jobs still kind of matter in that like stuff like that's like farmers, as you were saying. But a lot of the stuff that happens over here, we don't make stuff. We import cars. We import this. We import that. We don't
But
make that much shit. A lot of
even
jobs
our
that happen
food
is
is
there is
just
Silicon Valley technological jobs. And people are gonna have to evolve with that, unfortunately, because that's just
And
the
all
way
of
it
those
is.
tech companies in Silicon Valley are right in the same vicinity, in the same area. They be talking to each
Yep.
other. Because one thing I will say, listen, I fuck it. I honestly believe that, especially if you dislike somebody, right? You have to kind of embody this, right? I don't care how you feel about Andrew Tate. It's not important to me. But what happened to him is fucked up, and that was a coordinated attack. That shit is crazy to the point Airbnb and Uber will fuck with him. What? What's going on? I don't
Because
care.
it's money.
I don't. I. But the crazy thing is, he was making money for their platforms.
Was he?
He made a lot of. You know what? He was almost like he was really big. He was at one point the like most Googled man in the world, at some point. To the point where like people were saying, if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, I don't know how you don't know who that is. You know what I'm saying? Like I know because I watched Manosphere stuff and I've known about him for a while, like for like at least a year plus. Like so, it wasn't strange to me. But he was on, but also he was on a bunch of streamers' platforms. So he went to like
Yeah, I did. I did know him. I did
XQCQC
know him
and
doing
Hassan
that.
Piker and like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
could
and
do the
I
rounds
know
like
they were
that.
bringing them all in for
So
for,
that
for that
probably
type of
helped
stuff.
his popularity because the most popular Twitch streamers have this guy on their platform and stuff. But here's the thing that I always say, because actually ask this: do you guys believe that if something picks up in terms of like popularity, there's a demand for it, right? So for example,
be more
so for
specific. Yeah.
example, if let's say we live in a society where everybody's like 300 pounds, and then one brave soul's like, no, I'm gonna work out and not be 300 pounds, and for some reason that person starts to become really popular with a lot of people. What would you define that as? Humor me for a second, and then I'll get into my greater point. Just humor me. Okay, never mind. Because the reason that I bring it up,
I don't. I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. It's okay.
I feel
No,
like the word popular is
I'll,
throwing me off.
I'll
I don't
make
know why.
I'll make the popular. I just mean like people are gravitating towards that individual. Probably not the word, but they look up to them. They're calling him Top G or Tate G or something like that. Like they're like to common Tate W. Like he's got a legitimate fan base, and I'd argue the reason why someone like him And a lot of these like super whatever red pill manosphere alpha guru guys are fake. We know that for a fact. We know that some of them are just doing it for money. Everything is one thing is never lost on me. People do things, and maybe two things are true at once. They care, but they also want money. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't care. Capitalism doesn't bother me. The thing with me is, I would argue there was a thirst for generic masculinity or even hyper masculinity, because guys in this society in this time are telling their masculinity is toxic. They gotta be emotional. You gotta like fat bitches. You gotta this and that and the other. So when someone comes up like, yo, it's okay to just be a dude. You like hot chicks. Go to the gym. Be in shape. Stop being a bitch. And they gravitate towards that because they're looking for a type of masculine leader. Why do people like him and Kevin Samuels and stuff, when they pop up, they accrue all these fucking people who are actually there every day to engage? I think there's a demand for this because there's a lack of true. Who in the regular media is like a kind of traditional depiction of masculinity? And this is not me saying you gotta be traditionally masculine, by the way. That is not what I'm saying. My point is, most of these shows have niggas like Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin, fat, useless, and dumb, and the kind of like mothers are the strong backbone type of thing. I think there's a legitimate want for this. The people want to be told it's okay to like, yo, it's okay to be like, hey man, you're a guy, you're masculine, you like this type of shit, you like cars, monster trucks, whatever the fucking is cool. Don't apologize for that. That's just my opinion though. I could be wrong. That's just how I see it. Cause he blew up fast, bro. It came out of nowhere.
Also, it's the type of stuff he was saying that people putting it out there. Like you said, he got with the streamer, and these are people, and those streamers that he specifically were doing it with have a lot of reach within the kids. And also, when kids are involved, it doubles down even more because you get the kids, you get the parents, especially the moms.
Yeah, because he was talking to people like Aiden Ross, and Aiden Ross is big as fuck.
Because most of the streamers he talking to weren't just like, oh, they're political streamers. Like, no, he was talking to like dumb everyday niggas. They're like kids watch all the time. Like, what's that one, that Adrian kid and shit like that?
Like Aiden Ross, right? That guy?
Yeah. I call him Adrian. See, I didn't know his name. But shit like that. Ross, he was talking to people like that and saying that because he was the one where he was just like, you can't say anything because you got to protect your brand and shit like that.
Yeah.
I know he's one of those ones.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, that guy, for whatever reason, he just has a lot of fucking reach with the kids and shit like that. Or like people like, Speed. He wouldn't talk like the Speed because that nigga different. But
I can't
stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That nigga's not talking, bro. He not saying anything.
But I believe, especially if you don't like him, you should like allow him to have a platform. Because I don't think he's saying anything that's like, okay, you know me. I'm as close as you get to a free speech absolutist. I'm not fully there, but I'm as close. I'm like one tier under that. That's just how I am.
Well, a lot of people believe it's
hate speech is like
dangerous rhetoric. Yeah.
Because I always ask the question, and you guys can just give me your opinion. I don't know the answer is necessarily, but it's like if I go on a podium and I say, there's a term that a king used to be like, won't somebody rid me of this meddlesome priest? I can't remember.
Are you talking about?
He would say that every day, and then somebody finally like took the priest out. He's like, no, I didn't. But like low key, that's what he wanted. Like some people think that's what, like when people say certain things, that's low key what they're doing. And I don't know, like the stuff that people promote and demonize, this to me is just backwards. Like, I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? I guess here's the thing when it comes to, I hear what you say about free speech and stuff like that, but I think this is the way people look at it, I guess, to me. When you have somebody like Andrew Tate, and you have somebody like that, like I'm not even gonna say it, but we have somebody like that. There are people who can look at it like you and me, and they can look at it kind of from a place of rationale, and they can look at him, and you can still look at this guy and be like, interesting point. This guy's still a fucking joke, or he's obviously like ratcheting it up.
He's obviously like, playing it up. Like we always
say like that. But a lot of people
we're playing something up. Yeah.
But a lot of people can't do that. They can't tell the difference when somebody's doing that, and they get attracted, and they see these people as charismatic. And that's kind of like the problem that happens sometimes. is that people like him, like they become dangerous because of just how much people that take that idea and warp it is the problem. It's not even necessarily his fault that happened. And I'm not, like I said, it's not even necessarily a
That's
defense
partially my
that.
question. Like, who do you blame for that?
Well, the problem is, what do you do when somebody is like that?
It's one thing if I say like go do this and they do it, I'm like, wow, y'all are dumb. But if I'm like, as a man, you gotta be strong, and if anybody messes with you, you hit them in the face, and then I don't know, some guy
Okay,
goes and
here's
punches like
my
80 people in the face. Is that my fault?
I'll give you an example. What about like when Kyle Rittenhouse literally drove to another fucking
He didn't do that.
fucking country.
That was
country, another state.
He didn't cross the state line. He lives there.
But it don't matter. But he still went somewhere. Whatever. He took a gun and went over there and ended up being some place that technically he probably shouldn't have been, or he has a right to be there. But like he went there with a gun and it'll kill 2 people. But now they're painting him as a hero when he's a murderer.
See,
you're saying, okay, well, it's not his fault and it's like that, but still, you created an environment where people now see him as a hero. No, but he's not a hero at all.
I agree with that. Calling him a hero went too far, but the fact that
that's what I'm saying. People find a way to twist and turn anything.
The media absolutely tried to destroy the life of a kid for no good reason, in my opinion. Because
for no good reason,
I was actually
for no good reason.
I was actually. What's the good reason for destroying the life of a 17-year-old who went to defend his own community?
He killed 2 people that he should have had nowhere with a gun.
Have you guys seen the footage actually, like legitimately?
Because that's not my point.
I feel like you guys didn't see, like they were attacking.
No. I'm not saying from the standpoint that like, oh, he didn't defend himself. But be honest. Are you going somewhere with a gun?
No, I'm not a lunatic.
That's my point.
Yeah,
he went somewhere with a gun. But you don't do that if you're a rational person.
But what? I have no like military, police, anybody around me. Like I don't come from that. There's people who come from that, so they're more comfortable.
But does that make it right? If you come from that, do you just go to a place with a gun?
I'm sure if I was used to handling firearms and stuff like that, I'd be more confident and possibly willing. But I'm not, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Why did he go? Why did he go there?
To defend his community.
Did he?
Okay,
can you say that with a definite thing that he went there to defend his community?
So what you went? So you think he was just bloodthirsty? I don't know.
Can you say that he's not for definite? Can you say that he's not for definite?
Wait, Vince, hold on. I think the important thing to consider here is I think we have to be aware that guns will always bring threat of violence, no matter what. So let's say, even for a sake of argument, he did want to defend, right? You have to be aware enough, one, you're holding a firearm where the only purpose of a tool of a gun is to kill or maim somebody. Usually kill, right? So whether or not you may want to think something is purely for a defensive measure, no matter what you think, people are going to look at your tool, especially in a place like America, where gun violence is extremely rampant, and look at you as if you're now the threat, which is a reasonable thing to do. You should know that you being a defender while holding a gun probably isn't going to lead to real defense, but only more violence. And if he couldn't be aware of that, then he shouldn't be holding a gun in the first place.
I mean, that's an opinion.
That's what I would say.
I mean, you can say that, bro, but if somebody walked into your community with a gun right now and they said, I'm just protecting my community, you would still find that strange, and that's not something that you just turned into a hero. I'm sorry. You can say he was defending his community.
I'm not accustomed to that, so it would be strange for me personally.
I don't think anybody should be accustomed to doing that, especially when you say that
he wasn't the only one that was armed.
But I'm not saying they're in the right either. We're making a point that we're saying that, like, oh, he's the only person in the wrong. I'm not saying that either.
Oh, I think,
but I'm not gonna turn him into a hero. The only reason we even do that is because he killed 2 people and it was on camera.
But and by the way, I don't actually like agree with I don't know, but apparently one of the guys that ended up dying was like a child predator. So a lot of people.
That's just rationale for making it better.
No, I understand that, but I'm with you. They went too far. He's not a hero.
Hey,
Well, my
nah.
my
No,
problem,
but
nah.
my point,
my
my
problem,
original
my
point
problem
was
is
you
the
see how they
media.
twisted it.
The media completely lied about him.
But
They did lie.
but
They
my
did
point
lie.
is, but look
They
what
did.
happened with just that. Just how you said the media
They did
lied
lie.
about him, but also looked how
They
the
said
other
he
way. How they turned
they
him
said
into
he
a
killed they
hero.
said he killed minorities. He didn't kill anybody black.
Yeah, a lot of black
See, I'm
people.
not
He
even, but
killed
I'm not
black
even talking
people.
about that. But
That is
look how
true.
just at the same point where you said the media lied, that
Mhm.
also there was media who turned him into a hero. That's the point. That's the point that I'm making.
All right, I got you.
I
They
think.
turned him into a hero just as much as you said that they lied on him. They also
And
turned him into a hero. He got
no,
turned into a divisive figure. And all he was a 17-year-old with a gun that quote unquote was protecting his community.
hey, no.
What's up?
He did get a child predator though.
What?
I said he did get a child predator. That's a plus.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, put him in jail. I'd rather them go to jail and be locked up instead of that. But
Yeah, I think my main point was just I don't think he should be paraded as a hero. No.
I never agreed with that. I just
Yeah.
I don't agree with them trying to destroy a kid's life like that. It's heavily implied that his community was under attack the previous days and no, yes, the summer of is that
But was
is that
his
summer of
life
love?
destroyed? All he got
Days,
deals
no,
and he
but
went
listen,
around.
Pity, and hold on. But that's after he went through everything that he went through.
Yeah.
Their job to defend his community. He took it into his own hands. I would not find it strange for this guy for the guy having a gun. I'm not defending him killing these people, but I'm not as black and white as that. Neither am I. Would you have a problem with a bad? I don't know.
I don't think that's a
I've
fair
never,
comparison.
We pick and choose
hold on,
when it's right to defend your community.
hold on. I've never personally been in a riot like that. So I don't know what I would do if I felt the community that I was in was under attack. I'd probably do my best to defend it, but I don't have a firearm.
I wouldn't. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't even necessarily think they should have ruined his life. He should have been condemned, and he was the reason stricter laws with guns in America isn't a real place. He's neither a hero nor a villain. Exactly, and they painted him as a racist villain. That's really what I'm saying. So we and you are on the same page, Golden.
I don't even care
He's
about
just
none
an
of that.
idiot.
So y'all
I mean,
y'all are caring about
could-
things that I don't
he-
even
he
care
could-
about.
he
He
could be
killed
an
2
idiot.
people, you go to jail for shit like that. For less. People go to jail for more time for less. Y'all are making points about ruining his life with that. He killed 2 people. Defending your own community would not be an excuse for anybody else doing that type of shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Like it was just a weird.
Y'all are making points for me that I just simply would not make. Because you're talking about defending his own community, he did this and that. You're not allowed to do that at any other time.
That's very true.
I could go outside right now and be like, I'm defending my community.
I think
Does that make would I not go to jail if somebody came out right now
rioting,
and did that?
They were rioting and destroying property.
Bro, I'm telling you that does not matter because that has never mattered at any other point of people doing that type of shit.
But if the police won't help you, what are you supposed to do?
Bro, that does not matter my whole point, that does not matter for any other time.
I hear you. But
I hear what you're saying, but if we're doing that for him, you got to do. The thing is not consistent. You're not doing that for everybody.
We understand that much. It's not consistent. It's not fair. They pick and choose. We know all that. My point is just like if no one's if law enforcement is not going to help you defend a place that you care about, who is going to do it? The people, right?
Listen, bro. When it gets to a point where that when it gets to the point where that is the truth, when that is true of everything.
I'm a good person.
Listen, bro. Listen, I get what you're saying, but when it gets to a point where that is consistent with everybody being able to do that, then maybe I'll feel a different way about it. But it's never been that way.
Fair enough.
That only seems to be a thing that applies to certain groups of people. Then all of a sudden, it's look, now I'm defending my community and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't work. Even if it was a riot, doesn't work for certain other people.
You should definitely go to jail. If he killed them with a knife, he would be in jail. But because it's a gun, because of gun politics, it was controversial. The people shouldn't be a 17-year-old with a gun. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak on that. I don't know enough about the whole gun system in America because nobody will speak about it honestly. So I can never come.
It's pretty bad.
I can't come to a proper conclusion because everybody who talks about it on both sides are being disingenuous. So I can't get the truth. So I just gave up. For the most part, because I'm sure there's probably like some weird, because I don't think gun free makes sense. Getting rid of them all, I don't think probably
you can't
the problem. And
you can't
do it. Bad people always want to do bad stuff. And did you guys see what Project Veritas were doing when this was kind of at its peak? They were going kind of door to door and saying, how do you feel about like gun control law? Like, it's good and stuff, right? Blah blah blah, yada yada. Like, do you basically are saying, oh, are you comfortable if we just put this gun-free zone sign in your law? Like, what the fuck? No. I'm like, why not? Because they'll know that we have no firearms to protect ourselves. So after they're basically like, so you're saying that you need guns. I'm not saying that's the conclusion you should have taken from that, but gun-free zones are apparently always targeted. I'm just throwing that.
Yeah,
out
it's like I get what you're saying. It's like no one's saying that, but don't put a fucking target on my
there. I
forehead.
don't know what the answer is for that kind of stuff, though. I really don't. And America has the highest guns per capita in the world. Last time I checked.
The issue with us is like we have too many guns in circulation. It's impossible to take them all back. We literally cannot at this point.
And then there's a bunch of people who believe that the government is always at some point going to attack them and come and get them.
Which is dumb. We can't do anything.
So
if the government wants to kill us,
I actually got the second half of this. These are not my words, all right? These are not my thoughts. The idea was that the government will never get rid of the people because without any people, they have nothing to govern.
Yes.
So when they So when they do stuff like this, it's like small incremental stuff. They're not gonna like send a chopper to go Swiss cheese a neighborhood. They're gonna send an IRS agent to your house with a firearm to like scare you into giving them money and things of that nature. That's the argument that I was hearing. I'm not saying I believe that or not. Again, the gun laws in Canada are so much different that the issue that you guys have there with guns, we don't have here to that degree. So I don't know what to do about that. I don't experience those kind of
Yeah,
issues.
but stuff like that is just such a fucking slippery slope.
I hear you.
You could then just make arguments for anything just to further like your thought process. You know?
And then,
because I could just do the same thing the entire opposite direction.
People who are like for guns, they're so disingenuous. I remember that I was watching a podcast and that one girl was like, "The UK have mass knife stabbings." I'm like, wow.
Yeah, we saw that. I was like, that's not.
Yeah, I was like, you are not trying to have this debate fairly. You just do that in there. Someone gave you an olive branch to try to pivot, and you pivot. And I'm like, wow.
Like, come on, bro. Mass knife stabbings.
Yeah.
Like, let's be realistic. If you pulled up, let's say even a bar, how many people do you think you could really stab and then even kill with a knife in a public? Come on, bro.
And that's why I was like, that's not like if somebody has a projectile firearm, they don't have to be near me. As someone has to get close. I offended off people with knives. I'm not scared. I told you guys, you're not John Wick. You're not throwing that into my skull. I'm not scared of you. If you got a gun, bro, take what I have. I don't want those problems, G. It's more presented as a controversy than a race controversy than gun one least. Yeah, that's true. It was more of a race thing. It's just to race them on everything, but it was really actually what the guns. It was a smart way to take a heat off the actual blow of violent racists. The problem is that he didn't live in the community he wanted to protect. I've heard two things. Apparently that he actually lived there with his grandma, or that his grandma lived there. I think it's his grandma. I've actually pinpointed that myself. Goddamn politics, no matter the topic, is just complicated. I actually don't agree with that. I actually think some things are very fucking simple. Like, how about we don't glorify obesity? That's dumb. Acceptance is different than glorifying. I can deal with a guy coming to me with a knife, but a gun is killing me and 10 other people. Exactly. So yeah, she was super disingenuous with that take and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. The world's kind of crazy. I want to end with this. I'm gonna wrap it up because how many of you guys in the chat and anybody in here? How many do you guys have the app TikTok or use TikTok or go on it, or do you just kind of watch videos you see online or shit like that?
I use TikTok.
Okay. I haven't. What about you, Vince? I don't know if he's there. Vince there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't really. I just use it because my girlfriend sends me stuff, but I don't actually like. Okay. Scroll it. Or if I do, I look at like silly shit like niggas getting mossed. They're playing football and having music over it.
Okay.
I can give a good opinion on it if you want. I use it quite a bit.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, I'll get that in a second. Well, actually, no. Go ahead. Actually, give your opinion, and I'll
go. I think. So I think TikTok is one of these things where I think of social media apps, it's definitely the worst. But I think it's important to realize it's not too far from its parent apps, such as something like Twitter. I don't think they're that far apart in how bad they are for people as a whole. Because with like most algorithms on like I think damn near no every social media app, you could cater a pretty positive uh self-growing like for you page of things of like people speaking on specific important matters like financial help, like there's a lot of things. And I know there is that weird line, especially that we've seen, Naya, of like even certain professionals doing dumb shit, like even like in the field of like therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you probably shouldn't be giving this advice, or it's like, how did you get your job? But then I also think it's kind of good that these people are, I don't want to say rooted out, but like rooted out because of social media, so they can't give further harm to their clients. But there are certain like doctors or people that have really that are really regarded in specific fields that use this platform to give out good knowledge to people that I think is genuinely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if you just want to like look at cat videos, then you can look at cat videos. I think there's good stuff. Now, is there really really bad shit on there? Yeah, I think if we're looking at extremes, it's worse than like anything else for sure. And I think certain communities just as a whole are really bad. Anime on TikTok's horrible. I don't look at any of that shit. Same with comics. A lot of that shit. My For You page is mainly music, artwork, cat videos, uh, and like some comedy like shit that people do. Like that's my For You page. Uh, so I think it's one of those things of like it's always like you have to cater it for yourself like you would do in any other social media, and be very cognizant of what you're digesting. But also try not to beat on too much, because just going through really short clips throughout the day can definitely fucking fry you. That's what I would say.
Did you want to add anything, Vince?
Yeah.
Because you're not really on it. You kind of just say, I think you said when you get set, you kind of like do the thing where you just get set one, you might peep, and then you get off, right? Did you hear me?
What happened?
I said you kind of do the thing where like if someone sends you something, you just peep really quickly, then you kind of get off, right?
Yeah, that's all I do.
Okay. So Miles, you brought up one thing that I think is important to note. That I don't think some people are being honest about. Every social media app is dangerous in its own right. They all has a lot of cons that are dangerous because of the algorithm and curating certain content they only want you to see based off certain stuff, right? I actually would argue though that Twitter is not as bad as Instagram. I think Instagram is probably the second worst. Have you seen all the
You
studies?
think so?
Have you seen all the studies of teenage girls developing
Okay.
this
No, that makes sense.
image issues because of filters and
Body
stuff like that,
dysmorphia?
and, yeah, and body that's the word I was looking for. So I was struggling. Like, bro, what's it called again? Things of that nature. And with TikTok, so I have like I originally was working on this video for the other channel just to get a couple of wait, why is, by the way, Jordan O in the finals is trending? I don't know. Oh, I'm not even gonna engage with that. Thanks, Brian. Ain't easy. Communication and laughter, and I cannot stress it enough. Go to therapy, mental, emotional wellness to make a stronger relationship. Oh, fair enough. I might have to do that at some point. I don't know. Okay, so I was doing like a video for TikTok. I just kind of wanted to just make fun of it. It wasn't even gonna be that serious, but I wanted some research because that's how I am, and I knew TikTok was bad. I really did, even from like the Chinese Communist Party, right? See, right? The guy who made TikTok, whatever his name is, he's supposed, apparently he's their like trained something dog, so he just whistleblows to them and tells them everything. And I don't know if you guys know this. It's actually in the not, I don't know if it's called terms of service, but like the agreement page. TikTok tracks like everything you do, your keystrokes, your messages, your personal data, yada yada blah blah, and that's all going to the government. That's actually there if you read. Like, it's very easy to find. Like, it's not even like some hidden thing. It's like all there. So just be wary if it's on your phone, because if you care about that kind of thing, you might be one of those people who are like, hackers are everywhere, digital stuff is everywhere. You can't escape it. It doesn't matter, and it's not like other apps that don't track your information to some degree, right?
They do. Twitter has it
Right?
free. You can go get Twitter data from Twitter right now.
Yeah, right. So as I was doing my research, here's the thing that shocked me. I didn't know it was as bad as it really was. Like to me, it's like okay, it's bad, it sucks, but well, so are all social media is pretty self-destructive. TikTok is like everything on, but like tenfold, right? And I'm about to like say some stuff that's pretty shocking. Maybe I'll post all these in the comments as I go through them, right? So a lot of psychologists and medical professionals have described it as digital crack cocaine. The feedback loops and the parts of your brain that it stimulates are in line with very aggressive pornography and literal drugs. Like they're tapping into that to the highest degree. They have one of the strongest social media algorithms that's curated to kind of keep you on the app as long as like other apps do this, but like they do it like tenfold. I actually was tweeting with my friend Kyle, and he caught this in real time as he was leaving the Philippines and coming back to the States. That the content that he was watching on TikTok actually changed to like, oh, how does it feel to be black in the Philippines type of thing. It was interesting because I always heard that depending on your region and where you are in the world, TikTok curates like stuff that's like for the I guess like in China, my understanding is they send like masculine and STEM stuff like science, technology, engineering, and math. Over here, if you're a man, a boy on the app, and you're about 13 to like 16, you're gonna get is girls in suggestive costumes and dances and like very horny shit, right? And I'm like, it's probably not true, but I'm actually finding like articles from all across the political spectrum confirming these things, right? So I'm gonna link this one from Forbes in the chat first. I'll start with that one, and I did watch a couple of videos on it too, but I just thought that was kind of crazy. The second thing is, do you know what their moderators do to train?
No.
I'm gonna read this.
Nope.
It's actually quite shocking. Okay. TikTok moderators are being trained using graphic images of people, the big man thing, but with people who are not old enough, of actual abuse. That's how their moderators are trained to find certain things. They're quite literally being exposed to this. I'm gonna post this in there too. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Because what I had just recently learned is there's a live stream function there. I didn't know that. You could live stream on TikTok. And there's apparently a really huge problem of girls who are pretty much not 18. You have to be at least 16 to live stream apparently. And they're basically towing that line of doing very suggestive stuff, and a lot of predatory men and boys are in that chat using code speech like, oh, you forgot something over there. And that's forgot something over there is basically a coded language for bend over so we can see your butt. Or toe ring check. Toe ring check means show us your feet. To the point it's coded in there. One video, if you could take it at its face value, again, I can only, it's hearsay. I can't tell you that this guy did his research properly. He basically he masqueraded as a journalist and was in there. The last link is not working. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'll post it on Twitter or something. I don't know. He was in there, and when he would say something and someone would admit like, oh, I actually am underage, their live stream would just cut in real time. And if they kind of he said two things happened. Actually, I think he said two things happened to him. They will block him and get him out of there immediately if he said something like that, because he sound like a fucking narc. And then the second thing is that they would admit it, and then as a result of that, they would be kind of banned. He'd get banned from it, banned from that live stream and stuff. But let me try this again. I wonder if you know what, Starter Stories. I'm just gonna DM it to you. I'll DM it to you, Miles, and you, Vince, because I don't know if maybe it's because of what's in it. Twitch is like, oh hell nah. All right. I'll just, where's Vince at? Fuck it, I'll put it in the forest. I'm too lazy. No, did I just text you? I'll send it via text. Like for me, it just knowing how bad it got. I didn't know it was as deep as it was. Oh, okay, I appreciate that. I didn't know they were. I should probably just remove it. I don't know if they're gonna come for me. Can I remove this here? Maybe not. Anyways, Right, so there's that. So that's just kind of dangerous, kind of scary. But there's a lot of basically child stuff on there that's not supposed to be there. Which is I'm never a fan of that stuff. Did you know that this is also this to your credit, Miles? This is not a TikTok specific thing, but did you know there's teenagers, especially young women, who are giving teenage girls tics? They're developing tics from TikTok, and phantom and fake physical and mental disorders through social contagion. Where there's people who don't have Tourette's that somehow develop Tourette's by being on TikTok too long. Because they're following like mental disability type of stuff. It's actually really crazy. And
Interesting.
and I think with stuff like this, you don't see the immediate effect. Oh, it's just a fun little dance and stuff. I think in 10 years, when these people are older and they have like adult power, I suppose is what I'm looking for, that's when you'll kind of see the ramifications of these type of things. I'm just saying.
It's like when
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like when jewels come out and people are like, "Oh, well, it's not gonna happen." It's like we're probably gonna have lung cancer in 10 years. No, I hear you. I mean, based off what you're saying, I thought it would probably be closer in badness to Twitter, but I mean, it seems like it's blowing that out the water. So I was wrong.
That's what I was saying because I didn't go that far myself. I'm like, listen, they're all bad for you, whatever. Twitter is fucking my mental up. I know that, but
that's why I don't tweet or anything. Like, that's why I just be on Twitter. I just be looking through things, and then I had a cool little suggested thing of art, but now that's gone. But and I just sometimes see you tweet or Vince tweet Zenith of the month, or Vince saying I'm gonna take out a class today because y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about with storytelling, or things like Naya saying I miss Sun.
I'll just do that because Glam was asking the game for so long. He wouldn't beat it first time. It's really sussy time. It's really sussy time we're living in. Man, imagine what the individuals whose jobs are to manually ban and stuff, but that's been a problem for a long time for every other platform. It's crazy. Cause like honestly, could see myself probably being overzealous. Like she looks 14. Goodbye. Like I could see myself.
I guess
I think I'd have the opposite. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I hear what you're saying when it comes to this stuff, and I don't doubt that the people who do this stuff is wrong. But I guess I'd never be really that shocked by any of this stuff. It's like even if you just watch like TV shows that come down to stuff like this, like for example, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, True Detective season 1. I've always known people in these higher up positions are part of these sex trafficking rings and shit like that. It's proven all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
So like this information don't really shock me. I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Vince on this. I feel like I'm already so mentally destroyed that I think the world is so fucked that I try not to let because I'll just literally lose my mind, but I already am. So it's one of those balancings of do I want to lose my mind? What it is, or do I try and protect the last vestiges of
your sanity,
my mental sanity that I have?
I understand.
But I do have a question for you then, Naya.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is something I think could there be a hard bar, almost as it's like drinking, but people under a certain age should not be allowed to be on social media?
Oof.
I guess for me, sometimes this also just all comes back to the point that young people should just not be on social media.
Or there's three options, right? There's three things, right?
I think the parents have to decide that.
Okay, this is the three options I see. One, which could not happen at this point, which it would be no more social media, which is impossible to happen.
Social media is too important to our climate now.
Yeah.
And what we do.
Two, we create a limit on people that could reach social media. Or three, you kind of create two sections of social media, kind of like how you have YouTube for kids or things like this. There's an age-restricted version of whatever social media exists that only certain people of a certain age can interact within those age limits.
I feel it. No, I mean, I think these types of things are tough because I know me. Hold on, not gonna lie, it's making my stomach turn. I feel I'm not shocked. I heard this stuff happening, but these social medias, but it's bad. I know I'm desensitized to a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that I'm be like, well, I can't stop it. I'm okay with it. I won't do anything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why my opinion on that has changed a little bit. Just remind me, forget having that type of job. I mentioned can make you desensitized and change your mentality, but it happens on a way smaller scale with all of us seeing wild shit every day on social media. I don't know if I see wild stuff all the time.
The amount of people
But
I've seen
but
get
I
killed like on Twitter is
yeah.
just like
But I assume you're right. That's just messed up. But you know what? I do read like I would argue on average a minimum 26 articles a day of like news and stuff from the UK, America, and Canada specifically. Not no. Sometimes other things happen, but I'm pretty libertarian on people's lives, livelihoods and stuff. Like what you do with another human being in your spare time, if you're an adult and everyone's consenting, nothing to do with me. If you want to do drugs, nothing to do with me. If you want to blah blah, nothing to do with me. I think the problem that I'm starting to have nowadays is I'm starting to see like the bystander parable in a sense. You know, back in the day, they're like, if you see someone getting bullied and you don't do anything, you're a bystander and you're a part of the problem. I'm starting to actually intuitively feel that way, where it's like I think some ideas are so destructive, but like enticing, they spread like a virus. And I feel the need. It's not to change anyone's mind to be like, you must listen to what I'm saying, because I don't have it all figured out. Who the fuck am I? I'm just some nigga on the internet. But I'll speak against what I don't believe in, just in case there are other like-minded individuals who are too afraid to speak against certain things. You guys already know we have the running joke that I'm fat phobic, right? I will never glorify obesity. I don't care. You're not going to get me to do that no matter what time period we're in. I'll never glorify it. I can accept it. I'm not going to say you're a bad person just because you're overweight, but you should probably cut down. Will I promote it on Cosmopolitan and shit like that? There's a drag queen 25-year-old that died today in Philadelphia mid-show of a heart attack. And a medical examiner said it's diabetes and obesity that killed this individual. 25. It's just not a joke. You gotta take care of yourself. It's your body. You have one life. You really gotta take care of yourself. And don't get it twisted. Like I understand, because even some of the unhealthiest chain smoking people that I know live to their like 80s, and people who did everything right maybe didn't live that long. I understand those things happen, but that doesn't mean that you should roll the dice on the probability that way. I just don't think it's a smart thing to do. That's all. That's all I got for today, though. That was fun.
I guess my thing with the child predator thing that you're speaking about is just more so from the standpoint, not that I'm just like, oh, you know, I can't stop it, who cares? It's just more that like a lot of that is so ingrained from a higher up position. It's just like I can't be shocked that niggas in those positions are like that, because like not that it's right or nothing like that, but it's kind of more like you basically been seeing for years that it starts from this system at the top, because a lot of people who engage in stuff like that, like you remember we were going through the fucking the Hunter Biden thing, and you're like, I literally saw in real time like stuff get deleted.
That was the first time I experienced it. Like I saw real life suppression and like getting rid of stuff and shadow banning in real time, because I saw some fucked up things, and then I clicked on it. I clicked on it, but like I was like, what the fuck? I gotta show people, and it was gone. I was like, yo. And then so like a minute later, it was all gone. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
So like to me, it's just like, yeah, I definitely hear that, but also, but it's just like kind of like this culture of OnlyFans and shit like that too. Like, not saying that it's wrong for adult people to want their OnlyFans and shit like that, but my problem is it spreads, and there's just this disingenuous like talking points about it. It's just like, how do you fix that? How does that change?
And you should hear some of the women who are so against it really speak about it. Even some of them who went through it. Like, you don't understand what this stuff does to you and what type of people try to take advantage of you and fly you out. And listen, some of those stories about Dubai, I'm not even gonna end.
I mean, people been saying for years, like, because people don't listen to the porn industry. It's been going on porn forever. That's why sometimes with pornography can make you feel on the fence, because there's some people who genuinely have control over most of the things they do, and they like to do it. They feel empowered or whatever like that, and you know they get to choose all that. But just as many people you have that do that, there's just as many people who don't choose to be in that, and you don't know what you're getting into. That's why it's like it really is a difficult stream for something like that. And then you hear stuff where it's like we have all these discourse about a 22 dating a 19-year-old, and that nigga's a potential R word, and this, that, and the other. But then it's just like as soon as you turn 18, start an OnlyFans, or go through your whole phase, or do this and do that. And I'm not blaming women for that. I'm just saying these conversations lead to dangerous rhetoric, just like what we talked about earlier. To tie it back in, it's just like the reason that like you say like freedom of speech is people have the right to say all that stuff, but there's effects for all that stuff happening too. Because the problem, how do you stop that? No way to stop it in some regard.
Sorry. Yeah, I got you. I don't know. I don't have the solutions for everything. I don't know. With OnlyFans, I've always said I think pornography and prostitutes and things like that are just a necessary evil. And it's one of the oldest and longest professions that for inhumanity, it'll never not be there. It'll never not be needed. Just be careful. As best I can do for you. But I think we should teach more people. I think part of the problem is we're trying to accept any and all things. There are some things it was okay to demonize and shame, like cheating. Like when you know how cool cheating and being toxic in relationship has become. Like that was not a cool thing. Let's go back to shaming behaviors like that. Like that's
See, to me, it's not even about shaming. I think we should just have honest conversation.
There's that too.
To me, that's always been the thing to me. Listen, this and this could happen, but also this, and this. You need to know that this, and this is a possibility. You need to know the stories of these people.
Every data point and every variable they need. And then if you make that decision, you did it knowing.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we, instead of running, the problem is a lot of things that happen, we're running from the arguments. To me, is that we just don't talk about it. And I don't think you should just talk about it to kids of all ages and stuff like that. But when you get to a certain point where people understand or get to that age, you need to actively explain to them what's really going on instead of just like, they don't need to know. Because if they don't find out through you, they're going to find out through somebody.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than feeling that you were lied to because people, I guess.
And that's the problem. The problem is people just don't have talk about stuff, and not in a genuine way. They're learning from their peers, and their peers don't know any better.
And I don't know, yeah, and a lot of them don't talk. They don't have conversation. They just call you names or don't engage.
Because you're not gonna because even people like when I say your peers, I'm not even saying people who are just like your same age. Your peers are still people kind of in your same space. So even if you're 18-year-old, your peer is still somebody who's 27. Like, especially if you're in certain places like in college and stuff like that. That's still your peer. So, and some of those people do not have good intentions. So you got to go learn from people who are speaking from a place of trying to tell you the truth and stuff like that. They don't have any ties to you. They're not trying to do this and that to you to get you to do shit or try to make it seem cool or make it better than that. You just need somebody who gives you the straight facts.
More enjoying game of telephone.
Yep. I feel like overcorrection is the sort of way to make folks lash out from the feeling of restriction. The modern era was overcorrecting to a harmful degree to the vast majority of the people. Yeah, I'm not gonna get to the Dubai stuff. I've heard some. I can't believe it. But, anyways, I had fun. That was refreshing.
For you.
Yeah, I told you this is how I get my reprieve.
Honestly, I wouldn't even looking forward to talking about nothing political because I'm kind of over that stuff right now.
It's funny now. I feel like we're so completely reversed.
I indulged it for now.
I know. I understand. With me, it's weird because I'm like, you guys. I wish people understood how often I talk about like anime and comics and stuff, and sometimes I just want to talk about the world, bro. Like news, common events, politics, whatever.
I talk about the world all the time.
I don't. Well, I kind of do more so now, but yeah. But I think it's important. To have these conversations. I don't think I overdo it. I think I do it every once in a while. I think I overdo it. I don't like every day. Politics.
No, you
like,
don't.
No, I do it to myself. To myself, I overdo it. But like, I don't overdo it like on streams. Is what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, even if you did, it's not the issue that it's not the amount even because one you don't like even do it that like much. But even if you did, like, it's not that. To me, I think it's always just a thing of like because of topics of conversation of the world that we deal with can be so like depressing as subjects. It's kind of just like dang, I gotta think about how stupid people are, this dumb shit they did, and why it's affecting everybody else. Or every other day, I gotta be like, oh no, it's okay for me to be black and exist. Like it's like at a point, it's just like, bro, y'all got it.
I feel it. Y'all be safe. Goodbye.